Chapter 31-21. They had officially entered the Milky Way land. For the Dragon Palace, the resources of the Incan family were extremely scarce. Only by entering the Milky Way would they be able to develop rapidly. With the current strength of the Dragon Palace, it was completely capable of establishing a foothold in the Milky Way and even deterring other forces. In the Milky Way, there weren't many who could go against the Dragon Palace. In fact, the Dragon Palace was no longer afraid of the Dragon Descendants race, the Nine Swords race and the Skeleton race. During this period of time, according to Wuxia and the others' understanding and the records in the Crescent Moon Venerables books, the strongest in the current Milky Way was a level 2 universe venerable. In terms of combat power, the Mist race was stronger because they belonged to the sorcerer lineage. The Mist race had sorcerers that could fight against rank 3 universe venerables. Secondly, the Skeleton race was stronger and more mysterious. According to the Crescent Moon Venerables' guess, they might not be weaker than dense fog. Behind them was the One-Foot race. Although the One-Foot race was very small, their strength was abnormally terrifying. However, with the current strength of the Dragon Palace, they had nothing to fear. Wuxia wasn't even afraid of the dense fog race. The sorcerers of the dragon lineage were inclined towards array formations. However, Wuxia specialized in speed and was a great counter to such sorcerers. Over the next few days, Wuxia and the rest moved the main Dragon Palace to the volcano region. Announced that our Dragon Palace belongs to the Divine Dragon lineage. All subdragon species can enter our Dragon Palace. Once they enter the Dragon Palace, they will be protected by the Dragon Palace. When the Dragon Palace was transferred to the Milky Way, Wuxia gave the first order. With the current strength of the Dragon Palace, there was no need to hide. The first thing the Dragon Palace had to do was to announce that the Dragon Palace belonged to the Divine Dragon lineage. Recruit all Drakes. In the current universe, there were already Divine Dragon factions of the Divine Dragon lineage, and there were 8 of them. The weakest Divine Dragon lineage faction had the strength of a primary race in the universe. Moreover, it was not a weak existence among the primary races in the universe. The Dragon Palace naturally belonged to the Divine Dragon bloodline, and now possessed the strength of a primary race in the universe. After becoming a primary race in the universe, it meant that this race wasn't that easy to bully. If anyone else wanted to tame a flood dragon as a mount, they would have to consider the consequences. It's Dragon King. Prime Minister Turtle and the others nodded. Now, in the Milky Way, everyone had obtained some information about the Dragon Palace. All the forces knew that the Dragon Palace had creatures with the Divine Dragon bloodline. Now, it was just the Dragon Palace directly admitting it. The Dragon Palace is of the Divine Dragon bloodline. Now that it has moved into the Milky Way, anyone with the Divine Dragon bloodline can join the Dragon Palace and receive its protection. Very quickly, on the Universe AI, Dragon Palace posted a message. Moreover, the current location of the Dragon Palace was also revealed. If a flood dragon wanted to join the Dragon Palace, it would naturally need to know the location of the Dragon Palace. When this news was announced, it immediately attracted the attention of the entire Milky Way. Now that the Dragon Palace was famous, it was the focus of attention during this period of time. Now that the Dragon Palace had released such a message, everyone was surprised and shocked. The Dragon Palace is really from the Divine Dragon lineage. In the current universe, including the Dragon Palace, there should be 9 factions from the Divine Dragon lineage, right? I wonder how strong this Dragon Palace is. How many universe supremacies are there? It definitely won't be less. After all, they directly sold the Universe Sage level Battle Angel. According to the information from the ruins of the Incan dynasty, the Dragon Palace doesn't seem to be very strong. Within the Milky Way, countless people were discussing. At the same time, within the Dragon Descendants, a few old men were sitting in a hall. As they listened to the information reported by their subordinates, their eyes were filled with coldness. I really didn't expect the Dragon Palace to announce their location and openly accept and protect the flood dragons. The patriarch of the dragon clan said coldly, his face revealing a contemplative look. That Wuxia should be able to guess that we know he's from the Dragon Palace. Yet, they still announced the location of the Dragon Palace. Is it arrogance? Or confidence? They should have their own trump card. That's why they dared to announce it directly. Otherwise, knowing that they have formed a feud with us in the Nine Swords race, they would be courting death if they still dared to announce their location. They should have something to rely on. If the Dragon Palace really belongs to the Divine Dragon lineage, we really have to be careful. After all, they have inherited the bloodline of the once pinnacle race in the universe. The group of venerables from the Dragon Descendants frowned as they discussed. Wang Xian belonged to the Dragon Palace. Currently, they didn't know anything about the Dragon Palace. It would be irrational to act rashly. Inform the Nine Swords race and get their venerables to come over. Let's have a good discussion. Although the bloodline of the Divine Dragon is troublesome to deal with, it would be a great opportunity for the dragon descendants if we can eliminate them. The leader of the dragon descendants in the middle said plainly as his eyes glowed with passion. The others around him nodded in agreement. The dragon descendants weren't from the divine dragon lineage. The reason why they were called the dragon descendants was that they had mastered a special method to extract and integrate the bloodline of the divine dragon. It could strengthen their combat power and bloodline. Divine dragon lineage. Another flood dragon from the divine dragon lineage has risen and established a strong force? I wonder if they are stronger than the heavenly dragon clan from our side. On a small flying island in the sky above the Milky Way, a middle-aged man was looking at the information on the universe AI with curiosity. Is the Dragon Palace really from the divine dragon lineage? How pure is their bloodline? At the side, a young man riding on a 2-meter-long flood dragon revealed a curious expression. I don't know the details. They have just risen. However, since they can sell so many treasures, they shouldn't be an ordinary primary race in the universe. The middle-aged man shook his head. I wonder if the Dragon Palace's expert's bloodline is as pure as my heavenly halberd dragon horse. The young man said with a smile. Little brat, the heavenly halberd dragon horse you're riding on has a very pure bloodline. The heavenly halberd dragon horse is a powerful dragon species. This is a flood dragon gifted to our ancient painting sect by the heavenly dragon race. Those heavenly dragon race's bloodline is only SOSO. An old man's voice sounded from the side. Vice Sect Grandpa, why don't we make a trip to the Dragon Palace and see if they have any treasures that can raise the heavenly halberd dragon horse's grade? The young man looked at Venerable Lu Shan and said with a smile. The heavenly halberd dragon horse has a 9th order God Emperor realm cultivation. It is already very powerful to be able to fight above its realm. If it continues to advance, it will be comparable to a venerable. Venerable Lu Shan said with a smile. I hope that the heavenly halberd dragon horse can advance to the venerable realm as soon as possible. It is rumored that the Dragon Palace has a pure divine dragon bloodline. Why don't we take a look? Who knows, we might be able to gain something from it. The young man said with a face full of anticipation. All right, we can go take a look. Chapter 31-22. In the sky above the Milky Way, a small island was flying rapidly. A dozen middle-aged and old men were sitting on it. A young man riding on a semi-dragon looked around with a hint of arrogance on his face. The flood dragon he was riding on, Sky Halberd Dragon Horse, had a horn like a halberd and was covered in dragon scales. It was full of majesty. In its eyes, there was a tinge of unwillingness. It wasn't an ordinary flood dragon. It had the noble bloodline of the divine dragon flowing in it. Its ancestor was a pinnacle expert in the universe and was once a pure-blooded divine dragon. However, it was given as a gift by other dragon species to others as a mount. The island flew rapidly towards the volcano region. Volcano region, the main Dragon Palace. After the Dragon Palace was moved here and announced in the Milky Way, the members of the Dragon Palace started to transform the surroundings of the volcano region. Firstly, as the future base of the Dragon Palace, it couldn't be so chaotic. It had to be full of majesty and majesty. A group of Dragon Palace venerables moved the volcanoes and created a vast territory. Prime Minister Turtle even ordered the experts of the Dragon Palace to condense the volcanoes into divine dragons. From afar, the divine dragon flaming mountains were filled with grandeur. Sky Formation started to set up arrays around the Dragon Palace. Now that Sky Formation had the strength of a rank 2 universe venerable, he set up all sorts of powerful arrays around the Dragon Palace. Even if a rank 2 universe venerable came here to cause trouble, the arrays would be activated and he would be killed instantly. After all, after Sky Formation broke through, he could fight against at least 3 existences of the same level. Setting up arrays in his own territory would allow him to unleash even more terrifying strength. The Dragon Palace had more than 20 universe venerables, so it was easy to transform the volcano region. However, Sky Formation would need some time to set up the arrays. To complete it, it would take at least a few months. All the members of the Dragon Palace were filled with excitement. With the Dragon Palace's strength, they would have more confidence. The Dragon Palace should be below. Above the Milky Way volcano region, an island floated. Venerable Lu Shan's sharp eyes stared down as he said faintly, A group of middle-aged and old men watched from the side. Given his strength, he couldn't sense it at all. Crash. As Venerable Lu Shan waved his arm, the entire island fell into the Milky Way and flew downwards rapidly. What a magnificent dragon palace. As they rapidly approached the bottom of the Milky Way, the people on the island looked around. Those divine dragons that stretched for tens of thousands of miles, that majestic aura, and the majestic dragon palace, which made them filled with amazement. Rumor has it that the divine dragon likes treasures. I wonder if it's true or not, but the heavenly dragon race's domain is also very imposing, even more imposing than this place. A middle-aged man smiled and said, "More and more drakes are returning to their ancestry and establishing the divine dragon lineage. Perhaps the divine dragon lineage can return to the pinnacle of the universe." An old man holding a strange zither said with a smile, "It's basically impossible to return to the pinnacle of the universe. Which of the current pinnacle races in the universe hasn't experienced numerous eons? It's been a long time since a pinnacle race was born." Venerable Lu Shan said slowly. The people at the side immediately listened respectfully. The current divine dragon clan can only be called the Draconic clan. As Venerable Lu Shan spoke, he looked ahead. "Who are you?" At this moment, the two patrolling yakshas noticed them and immediately flew over, asking them. "Third Order God Emperor, a little weak." The young man riding on the heavenly halberd dragon horse swept a glance at the two patrolling yakshas and commented indifferently. Several middle-aged and old men beside him nodded in agreement. Indeed, they were a little weak as they only had the strength of a Third Order God Emperor. "We are from the ancient painting sect. We are here to pay a visit to the Dragon Palace," Venerable Lu Shan said indifferently. "Wait here for a moment, we will go and report," one of the patrolling yakshas said. In a flash, he flew towards the Dragon Palace at the back. "These people from the Dragon Palace are lacking in upbringing. Our deputy sect leader is a universe venerable. Not only did he not show any respect to a universe venerable, he even asked us to wait here." The old man holding the zither frowned and transmitted his voice in displeasure. "I heard that they have just advanced to a primary cosmic race. I think they were lucky to obtain the Crescent Moon Venerable's treasures," a middle-aged man replied. Venerable Lu Shan stood on the island and looked at the Dragon Palace in front of him without saying a word. However, when he looked at the Dragon Palace in front of him, a tinge of contempt flashed in his eyes. Based on his senses, he could easily break through the defense of the Dragon Palace. The current Dragon Palace had yet to be upgraded and could only withstand attacks from those below the Venerable realm. It had no resistance against Venerables. In his heart, Venerable Lu Shan already had a basic judgment of the Dragon Palace. What are the experts from the ancient painting sect doing in the Dragon Palace? Wang Xian raised his eyebrows slightly when he received the report from the members of the Dragon Palace. He moved and headed out immediately. Prime Minister Turtle also followed beside him. "Greetings to the ancient painting sect. Apologies for not coming out to welcome you." Wang Xian flew out of the Dragon Palace and looked at the group. His eyes fell on Venerable Lu Shan as he welcomed them with a smile. "This is?" Venerable Lu Shan looked at Wang Xian with curiosity. "Dragon King of the Dragon Palace." Wang Xian cupped his fists and said, "Venerable Lu Shan, this way please." He gestured for them to follow and led them to a place at the side. In front of the Dragon Palace, they had specially set up a guest hall. The Dragon King of the Dragon Palace seems to be the one wanted by the dragon descendants. At this time, the young man riding on the heavenly halberd dragon horse suddenly transmitted his voice. "Yes, it's true. It seems like the Dragon Palace has a feud with the dragon descendants in the Milky Way." The rest of the middle-aged and old men nodded their heads slightly. "Dragon King, you guys are really impressive to have obtained the treasures of Venerable Crescent Moon. Haha, we paid a huge price to get that battle angel." Venerable Lu Shan walked beside Wang Xian and replied politely, "I was just lucky. May I know why Venerable Lu Shan and the rest are here at the Dragon Palace?" Wang Xian smiled and entered the hall. He gestured to them to take a seat. "Nothing too important. We came to the Milky Way to stay here for a few days." Coincidentally, the Dragon Palace announced that they were part of the Divine Dragon lineage. "Our ancient painting sect has a good relationship with the Heavenly Dragon clan, which is also part of the Divine Dragon lineage. Therefore we were curious and wanted to take a look." Venerable Lu Shan chuckled. He had wanted to be polite and say that he wanted to befriend them. However, after hearing Tian's voice transmission, he changed his words. He wasn't here to participate in the fight in the Milky Way. Chapter 31-23, Heavenly Dragon Clan? Upon hearing Venerable Lu Shan's words, Wang Xian pondered. He had learned a little about the Heavenly Dragon clan recently. This was the closest divine dragon clan to the Dragon Palace. It was rumored to have hundreds of powerful venerable dragon gods. Are you on good terms with the Heavenly Dragon clan? Wang Xian swept his gaze across the sky dragon mount that the young man was riding with a puzzled look. A clan that treated sky dragons as mounts would be on good terms with the Divine Dragon clan? This sky dragon is a gift from the Heavenly Dragon clan to our ancient painting sect. A sky halberd dragon horse with a strong bloodline. What do you think of this sky dragon, Dragon King? Venerable Lu Shan chuckled and asked. Very strong bloodline. I didn't expect the Heavenly Dragon clan to fall to this extent. Wang Xian said plainly. Huh. Venerable Lu Shan raised an eyebrow upon hearing Wang Xian. He then smiled and said, I heard that the Dragon Palace has a purebred divine dragon. I wonder if the Dragon King can let us take a look? Our main purpose for coming here is to have an exchange and see if the Dragon Palace has any items that can help the sky dragons improve rapidly. We can exchange them. As he spoke, he looked at the divine dragon statues around him. Forget it. All the divine dragons in the Dragon Palace are our disciples. We don't have any exchanges and we don't have any treasures that can help the sky dragons improve. Wang Xian shook his head upon hearing his words. What a joke. Let them take a look at a purebred divine dragon? Were they treating the Dragon Palace as a zoo? Were the disciples of the Dragon Palace just for viewing? Wang Xian's rejection stunned Venerable Lu Shan. He shook his head slightly. Several middle-aged and old men frowned slightly at the side, and their faces showed displeasure. It was especially so for that young man who was staring coldly at Wang Xian. Such a powerful heavenly clan had even sent gifts to their ancient painting sect. Now this puny Dragon Palace wasn't giving them any face at all. However, the sky halberd dragon horse beneath the young man shivered upon hearing Wang Xian's words. Dragon King, save me. I don't want to be a mount forever. Suddenly, a voice rang in Wang Xian's ears. Upon hearing this voice, he was taken aback and looked at the sky halberd dragon horse that the young man was riding. Since a beast has been reduced to a mount, it must have the thoughts of a mount. Venerable Lu Shan stared at the heaven halberd dragon horse and a suppressive force enveloped it. The heaven halberd dragon horse could not withstand the terrifying pressure and knelt on the ground. Wang Xian swept his gaze across and squinted his eyes. Venerable Lu Shan, I wonder if your celestial halberd dragon horse is for sale? Heavenly halberd dragon horse. Upon hearing Wang Xian, Venerable Lu Shan raised an eyebrow. Dragon King, you won't even let us see the divine dragons of your Dragon Palace, and now you want to buy my heaven halberd dragon horse? The bloodline power of my mount, the heavenly halberd dragon horse, might be higher than the bloodline power of all the alternative dragons in your Dragon Palace. Before Venerable Lu Shan could continue, the young man beside him said coldly, Our Dragon Palace is not the Heavenly Dragon clan. All the members of our Dragon Palace are disciples of the Dragon Palace. We are not for people to admire, let alone trade. Wang Xian said plainly. Dragon King, to put it bluntly, your Dragon Palace is still far from the Heavenly Dragon tribe. Venerable Lu Shan said with a smile on his face. There was a tinge of sarcasm in his smile. I don't know if the Dragon Palace is comparable to the Heavenly Dragon clan. However, the fact that the Heavenly Dragon clan sends their own clansmen to others as mounts shows that they are mediocre. Wang Xian said with a tinge of sarcasm. Dragon King, the Heavenly Dragon clan is a friend of our ancient painting sect. Their strength isn't something that your Dragon Palace can compare to. Don't criticize others. Venerable Lu Shan retracted his smile and reminded. So what if I criticize them? Isn't that the way it is? It's shameful for a primary race in the universe to send their own clansmen to be slaves. Wang Xian shook his head sarcastically with disdain in his eyes. As a primary race in the universe, even the human race, which had the largest population, wouldn't send their own clansmen to be slaves. The Heavenly Dragon clan still dared to call themselves the Divine Dragon lineage. This was a disgrace to the Divine Dragon clan. Dragon King, that's because you don't know the current situation of the Divine Dragon lineage in the universe. Don't tell me you still think that the current Divine Dragon lineage is the pure-blooded Divine Dragon that once stood at the pinnacle of the universe? You can't have such arrogance. Your Dragon Palace is just an ordinary primary race in the universe. Venerable Lu Shan chuckled. As they conversed, the tension between them gradually rose. How many of the current Divine Dragon lineage are real dragons? The Divine Dragon lineage is just an ordinary race in the universe. Now isn't the time to be immersed in the glory of the past. We have to look at the reality. The young man riding on the heavenly halberd dragon horse said coldly. Our Dragon King is talking to Venerable Lu Shan. What right do you, an Emperor God expert, have to interrupt? Prime Minister Turtle looked at the young man and stared at him coldly. I am, shut up. The young man wanted to continue speaking, but Prime Minister Turtle shook his aura and charged at him with the aura of a venerable. Venerable Lu Shan squinted his eyes and said coldly, Dragon King, what's the meaning of this? Are you trying to make an enemy out of our ancient painting sect? As he spoke, a chilling aura surged from his body. Since you are here to visit our dragon palace, be a good guest. Don't be arrogant and don't put the rules of the outside in our place. Those who aren't qualified should not interrupt when we are talking. Don't you understand the rules? Wang Xian looked at Venerable Lu Shan from ancient painting sect and swept his gaze across all of them. When the young man heard Wang Xian, his expression changed drastically. It seems like the Dragon King doesn't welcome us. It seems like the Dragon Palace doesn't take our ancient painting sect seriously either. Venerable Dragon Mountain said plainly. Why should I take you seriously? Enemies are enemies and friends are friends. Wang Xian stood up and said plainly. Haha, alright. Since we can't be friends, forget it. Let's go. Venerable Lu Shan stood up slowly and burst into laughter. Tiske. The young man and a few middle-aged and old men snorted and followed closely behind. So what you mean is that you want to make an enemy out of our dragon palace? Wang Xian asked plainly as he looked at their backs. That will depend on the dragon palace's choice. Don't be too arrogant. Venerable Dragon Mountain sneered without even turning his head. The choice of our dragon palace? Wang Xian chuckled and looked at Prime Minister Turtle. Dragon King, let's become enemies then. Prime Minister Turtle said plainly and waved his hand. Chapter 31-24, Our Dragon Palace has made our choice. With Tianjin in the lead, 20 Universe Supremacy stood at the front and stared at Venerable Lu Shan and the rest calmly. Venerable Lu Shan's eyes narrowed when he saw Tianjin and the rest. He sized them up and his expression changed drastically. What are you trying to do? You Dragon Palace better know what's good for you. Beside him, the group of middle-aged and old men were infuriated when they saw Tianjin and the rest. Didn't you let us choose? Why would we choose to be enemies with you? Of course we have to kill you. Orochi looked at all of them mockingly. Tianjin waved his arm and started to set up the array. Since he had decided to take action, he would leave the other party here forever. Upon hearing Orochi, Venerable Lu Shan's expression changed drastically. He turned his head immediately and stared at Wang Xian. Do you know what the Dragon Palace is doing? Wang Xian looked at him quietly without a word. The Dragon Palace is courting death. Seeing Wang Xian's silence, he sensed that Tianjin was setting up the array behind him. With a roar, he grabbed the group beside him and dashed forward. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The moment he dashed out, the group of 20 Universe Supremacies from the Dragon Palace moved. The mighty aura belonging to the Supremacy sealed off the surroundings. Tianjin waved his arm and waves of horrifying energy shrouded him. Lu Shan Island. Venerable Lu Shan roared. The island not far away in front of him emitted an earthy yellow radiance and flew towards them rapidly. How dare a rank 2 Universe Supremacy act so arrogantly in our Dragon Palace? How dare you look down on us? Today we'll annihilate you. Emosha roared. The 10 Dragon Palace experts looked at the Lu Shan Island and flew over. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The combined forces of the 10 of them were enough to fight against a rank 2 Universe Supremacy. Waves of horrifying energy bombarded the Lu Shan Island. It was a powerful acquired spiritual treasure. What? They are actually all Universe Supremacies. The group of middle-aged and old men from the ancient painting sect and the young man were horrified when they felt the horrifying aura. All of them were venerables. The Dragon Palace had more than 20 Universe Supremacies, who actually possessed such terrifying strength. Buzz. At this moment, Wang Xian disappeared instantly. Since they had started, Wang Xian would never allow them to leave. With the appearance of the unparalleled sacred wings, Huang Xiaolong, who now had 8 lightning feathers, increased his speed slightly, but his current speed was comparable to a third-order venerable. Bam! Before Venerable Lord Lu Shan could react, he sensed a terrifying force landing on him. Not good. His expression changed drastically, and his eyes were filled with fear. Pooh! He spat out a large mouthful of blood and his forehead was instantly covered in cold sweat. He started to panic. Dragon eyes lock everywhere. Wang Xian bellowed and sealed the area with layers of seals. With the help of the heavenly formation in Wuxia, the two of them already possessed the strength to kill someone of the same level. With the two of them working together, they could even escape from a third-order venerable. Now that they had joined hands to deal with a level 2 universe venerable, and there were 20 Dragon Palace venerable level members surrounding him, it was simply too easy. Given the current situation, he couldn't even react in time to his own attack. The chains bound him in an instant. Wang Xian held onto one end of the chains and his eyes were filled with coldness and ridicule. Blah. Venerable Lu Shan, who was restrained by the chains, struggled violently. He stared at Wang Xian with widened eyes and said, "Dragon King? We don't have much enmity between us. Why did you kill him? There isn't much hatred, but don't be so arrogant when you come to our Dragon Palace. Speak nicely and our Dragon Palace will treat you well. You asked us if we wanted to be enemies with you and we chose to be enemies with you. You made us choose, so you have to bear the consequences." With a wave of his arm, the heavenly halberd dragon horse, which was lying on the ground in a daze, was chained to the side. "Thank you, Dragon King, thank you, Dragon King." The heavenly halberd dragon horse immediately knelt down and thanked him. "We can give this heaven halberd dragon horse to you, Dragon King. Let us go. After you let us go, our ancient painting sect will definitely not pursue the matter with the Dragon Palace." Venerable Lu Shan swallowed a mouthful of saliva and said fearfully, "Is that even possible? Since I've already made my move, there's no other way." Wang Xian shook his head slowly. Blah. As soon as he finished his sentence, the chains shrunk rapidly. Ark. Tragic cries came from their mouths. No, don't kill me. Do you know who I am? I'm the grandson of the ancient painting sect's sect leader. Don't kill me. Feeling the threat of death, the young man roared with a face full of horror. "Sky Formation, keep an eye on them in case they have any secret treasures that can allow them to escape." Wang Xian looked at them coldly as he spoke to Sky Formation. "Yes, Dragon King." Sky Formation nodded his head and set up layers of arrays. He even formed a curse array. "Dragon Palace, if you kill us, our ancient painting sect will definitely not let you off. You have to consider this carefully." Venerable Lu Shan shouted sternly. Wang Xian waved his arm and a grayish force shrouded all of them. No. The group of young, middle-aged, and old men screamed in despair. They had followed their vice sect leader out this time with the mindset of having fun. There were no forces in the Milky Way that were a match for their ancient painting sect. Therefore they had always been proud. However, they had never expected the Dragon Palace to lay their hands on them and want to annihilate all of them. They didn't want to die. They were the core disciples of the ancient painting sect and had a strong background. But soon their screams came to an abrupt end. Venerable Lu Shan's body trembled and lost all signs of life. A level 2 universe venerable lost his life here because of his arrogance. Wang Xian swept his gaze across and handed the corpses to the members of the Dragon Palace. With a wave of his arm, the 5 elements grindstone flew out and devoured Lushan Island. He looked to the side and saw the heavenly halberd dragon horse lying on the ground in awe. Upon seeing Wang Xian's gaze, it lowered its head subconsciously. "Follow me into the Dragon Palace and become a disciple of the Dragon Palace in the future," Wang Xian said to it. The main reason why Wang Xian made a move to keep Venerable Lu Shan and the rest here was because of the heavenly halberd dragon horse. When Wang Xian first saw it, he immediately thought of a dragon. Halberd Dragon Guard. The error-free chapters of the Invincible Divine Dragon Cultivation System will continue to be updated on the mobile game bar. There will be no advertisements on the website. Please collect and recommend the mobile game bar. Please collect those who like the Invincible Divine Dragon Cultivation System. Invincible Divine Dragon Cultivation System. Chapter 3125. The Halberd Dragon Guards were once the most balanced dragon species in the Dragon Palace. In the Divine Dragon Heritage, the Halberd Dragon Guard was one of the main peak dragon species in the Dragon Palace. He wasn't as strong as a berserk dragon, nor did he have the long-range attacks of an arrow dragon, nor did he have the terrifying defense of a royal dragon. However, in terms of attack, defense, and long range, they were very balanced. The Halberd Dragon Guard was a position within the Dragon Palace. In reality, they were the descendants of the heavenly Halberd Dragon Warrior. At that time, the Halberd Dragon Guards were a powerful guardian army of the Dragon Palace. The heavenly Halberd Dragon horse in front of him only possessed a small amount of the Halberd Dragon Guard's bloodline. However, the main reason was that the divine dragon blood in its bloodline was too thin and had too many impurities. If he were to enter the dragon pool to cleanse his bloodline, he could evolve into a heavenly halberd dragon warrior. Once he advanced to become a heavenly halberd dragon warrior, he would be able to fight opponents 3 ranks higher than him. This was secondary. The most important thing was that the Dragon Palace now had another peak-level dragon species. The patrolling Yakshas of the Dragon Guard division could also evolve into halberd dragon guards. The Dragon Guardian and roving Yaksha had followed Wang Xian all the way from Earth. However, their combat strength was at the bottom of the entire Dragon Palace. As an important army of the Dragon Palace, roving Yaksha and the rest urgently needed to evolve into a powerful dragon species. The halberd dragon guards were the best choice. Thank you, Dragon King, thank you, Dragon King. The heavenly halberd dragon horse bowed to Wang Xian with excitement. When you join the Dragon Palace in the future, you don't have to kneel to anyone except the Dragon King and Dragon Queen. No one will be able to make you kneel. We are the divine dragon race, the pinnacle existences of the universe. Prime Minister Turtle said to the heavenly halberd dragon horse. Yes, yes. The heaven halberd dragon horse nodded heavily. Come, let's go and call Ao Yaksha and the others over. As Wang Xian spoke, he brought the heavenly halberd dragon horse into the Dragon Palace. With the bloodline of the heavenly halberd dragon horse, he could easily pass the dragon gate. Wang Xian immediately brought him to the dragon transformation pool. There was not much dragon blood in the dragon transformation pool, but there was the corpse of Venerable Lu Shan. His corpse was enough for the Dragon Palace to produce a few universe supremacies. Dragon King, is there a powerful dragon species in the Dragon Palace that we can switch to? At this time, roving Yaksha and all the members of the Dragon Guard tribe flew over, their faces full of excitement. Wang Xian nodded his head with a smile as he gestured to the heavenly halberd dragon horse. Enter the dragon transformation pool and cultivate. With the majestic dragon blood, the bloodline deep within your body will be stimulated. Wang Xian ordered the heavenly halberd dragon horse. Yes, Dragon King. Tianji will never forget your kindness. The heavenly halberd dragon horse kowtowed to Wang Xian and flew into the dragon transformation pool without hesitation. He looked at her with a smile. At the side, roving Yaksha and the others were also waiting excitedly. Just as the heavenly halberd dragon horse entered the dragon transformation pool to evolve. Tens of thousands of light years away in the ancient painting sect, the life tablets of the vice sect master and the others shattered, causing an incomparably huge commotion. The location of the Dragon Palace has been locked down. I think it's time to test it out. At the same time, on a luxurious ship on the surface of the Milky Way, a group of people sat on 2 sides. In front of them was the image of the underwater Dragon Palace. I think this is a good thing for us. Didn't the Dragon Palace say that they want to recruit all draconic disciples? Didn't they say that they want to protect them? As they are of the divine dragon lineage, there will definitely be many draconic disciples who will seek refuge with them. As long as we guard the surrounding area, we can test the strength of the Dragon Palace and capture some draconic mounts. Hee hee. The old man from the 9 Swords race who was sitting on the right said with a smile. Indeed. Based on the information we received, the strength of the Dragon Palace shouldn't be too strong. The only unforeseen event is whether the Dragon Palace has more battle angels of the Venerable Realm. After all, the Crescent Moon Venerable was the pinnacle expert on our side, a rank 3 Universe Venerable. The old man from the dragon race on the right nodded. Both of them were Universe Venerables. In order to deal with the Dragon Palace and to find out some information, the 2 major races had given their all. Moreover, each race had sent out 3 Universe Venerables for this operation. This force was definitely a terrifying existence. There should be very few battle angels of the Venerable Realm. An old man from the 9 Swords race guessed. It won't be long before we find out how many there are. Let's play with them. The Venerables from the 2 major races exchanged glances, their eyes filled with coldness. The 2 major races had decided that they wouldn't rest until the Dragon Palace was destroyed. Hide in the surroundings. Once a draconic disciple enters the volcano region, capture it immediately. The 2 major races gave their orders, and the luxurious ships gradually concealed themselves in the ocean. Let's go. As long as we join the Dragon Palace, we will receive its protection. Days passed, and the Dragon Palace officially stepped onto the stage of the Milky Way. The information on the Universe AI about the Dragon Palace had attracted the attention of many draconic disciples. When they saw the information, some of them were excited. Given the current situation of the draconic disciples, once they were discovered, they would be captured as mounts or killed for their pure dragon blood to be extracted. They couldn't even protect themselves. Now that there was a powerful divine dragon lineage in the Milky Way, Many draconic disciples had decided to join them. The Milky Way was huge. Even if there were fewer draconic disciples, there were still thousands of them. Some draconic disciples flew towards the Milky Way volcano region. However, before they reached the volcano region, they attracted the attention of others. The Nine Swords race and the Dragon Descendant race. It was extremely easy for these two races to monitor a region. With the experts from the two major races taking action, some draconic disciples were suppressed before they could reach the volcano region. Even though these draconic disciples were suppressed, they didn't attract any attention and no one noticed them. Let's go, little sister. The Dragon Palace's territory is just ahead. As long as we join the Dragon Palace, we won't have to worry anymore. Half a month later, a man and a woman were traversing through the Milky Way Sea. The man and woman had the body of a human, but they had dragon horns on their heads, which added a sense of majesty to them. Their eyes were filled with vigilance. "All right, big brother." A young voice sounded from the side, looking around in panic. They were weak. The woman hadn't even reached the God Emperor realm, and the man was only a first-order God Emperor. Luckily, the powerful desolate beasts in the surrounding sea have been cleared by the Dragon Palace. Otherwise, we might not have been able to reach here. The young man spoke in a low voice as he flew forward with his little sister. Wing wong. Suddenly, the dragon horn on the young man's head shone brightly, and it trembled. Not good. The young man's expression changed and he quickly grabbed his little sister's arm, shouting, "Run, run immediately." Yes. The girl's face turned pale and she didn't dare to stay any longer. The young man beside her also wanted to return to his god kingdom. Chapter 31:26, Brother. At the bottom of the Milky Way, a woman with dragon horns on her head shouted as she saw her brother being shrouded by the pressure. Her brother's escape was interrupted. Tisk tsk tsk. Another two lesser dragons. At this moment she saw a figure flying towards them at high speed. Soon after, her figure disappeared. When she reappeared, she was back in her own god kingdom. No, brother. Sensing her own god kingdom, she hurriedly flew outside. Beside her was her brother's god kingdom. When she entered, she realized that her brother was not there. Her face turned pale instantly. No, brother. She shook her head in despair as tears flowed from her eyes. However, she quickly wiped her tears, took out the universe AI, and frantically sent out messages. Haha, this is already more than 40 lesser dragons. This is equivalent to our harvest of 10,000 years. At the same time, a middle-aged man from the dragon race sat excitedly in the vicinity of the Milky Way volcano domain. Now, in just half a month, the dragon descendants had captured more than 40 drakes. In the current Milky Way, the dragon race only had the opportunity to capture one lesser dragon every few hundred years. A lesser dragon would be of great use to them. It could greatly enhance their bloodline. If they used the bloodline of these lesser dragons to nurture their core disciples, they might be able to nurture a genius who could fight beyond their level and be comparable to Long Zetian. This is just the harvest of the dragon race. The Nine Swords race should have gained quite a lot too. This time, the Dragon Palace has announced that they are protecting the lesser dragons. This is really a good thing for us. An old man beside him said with a smile. After we investigate the background of the Dragon Palace and destroy them, we will be able to obtain a large amount of dragon blood. By then, there will be dragon blood of the universe supremacy level. With that dragon blood, the dragon race might be able to improve tremendously. If the Dragon Palace has a purebred divine dragon, our dragon race might be able to improve further. The middle-aged man said with a smile. How can there be a purebred divine dragon? In the entire universe, only the experts of the divine dragon race that have reached the mid-level of the universe have purebred divine dragons. There shouldn't be any in other places. Forget about the purebred divine dragon. The old man shook his head. Let's go. Yes. The middle-aged man nodded. The eyes of the young man with a dragon horn who was restrained by them were wide open, and his eyes were filled with astonishment. The dragon descendants wanted to destroy the Dragon Palace, and according to their information, the Nine Swords race was also involved. How could this be? A look of despair appeared on the youth's face. Time passed little by little. Within the Dragon Palace, Tianji's Heaven Halberd dragon warrior bloodline was dug out. With a huge amount of dragon blood, it allowed him to break through to the universe venerable realm. The Dragon Palace also had one more peak-level dragon species. Following that, roving Wuxia and the others from the Dragon Guard tribe entered the dragon transformation pool excitedly to improve themselves. Wang Xian watched from the side with a smile. Currently, the patrolling strength of the Dragon Palace was indeed the weakness of the Dragon Palace. After roving Wuxia and the rest evolved into the halberd dragon guards, the Dragon Palace had improved tremendously. Dragon King, something has happened. At this moment, Prime Minister Turtle quickly walked over with a frown. What happened? Seeing Prime Minister Turtle's reaction, Wang Xian frowned and asked. A sky dragon species has sent a large number of private messages to the Dragon Palace. Moreover, there's a video on the Universe AI that has caused quite a stir. As Prime Minister Turtle spoke, he opened the Universe AI and displayed an image before Wang Xian. A girl with dragon horns on her head appeared on the screen with an anxious and pale face. My brother and I wanted to join the Dragon Palace. However, we were attacked by experts along the way. My brother has been captured. I beg the experts of the Dragon Palace to help me rescue my brother. I beg the experts of the Dragon Palace. As the girl spoke, she knelt on the ground with tears streaming down her face. When Wang Xian saw the video, his face darkened immediately. His eyes were beaming with frenzied killing intent. Dragon King, we can confirm that this girl is from the Sky Dragon lineage. She has sent a lot of private messages to the Dragon Palace, saying that she was attacked when she was near the volcano region. The other party was obviously ambushing them there. Prime Minister Turtle continued to explain to Wang Xian. Have you replied to her? Wang Xian asked with a solemn face. Dragon King, we have contacted that girl and received her reply. Prime Minister Turtle said. Contact her and get her to tell us where she is. Wang Xian squinted his eyes. Yes, Dragon King. I'm going to get someone to pick her up, Prime Minister Turtle replied. The Turtle Minister replied. After pondering for a moment, he continued, Dragon King, it has been more than half a month since we announced the recruitment and protection of the Flood Dragons. However, not a single person with the Flood Dragon bloodline has come. Something must have happened. I suspect that someone is making use of the news of us recruiting Sky Dragons and is capturing them. Wang Xian nodded. After all, the Dragon Palace has reached the strength of a primary race in the universe. Those who dare to go against us should be those few forces. As he spoke, he already had a guess in his heart. Before the Dragon Palace fully displayed its strength, the other primary races in the universe shouldn't defend the Dragon Palace over a few Sky Dragons. If there were any primary races in the universe that had made a move, it would be the Dragon lineage and the Nine Swords race. These two races should have known that he was from the Dragon Palace. Get Tianjin, Roving Yao, Mao Zisen, Roving Sword and the rest over. I'll go over personally this time. Wang Xian was filled with murderous intent as he ordered Prime Minister Turtle. Yes, Dragon King. Prime Minister Turtle nodded. Soon Tianjin, Roving Yao and the rest arrived. Let's go and pick someone up. Then we'll investigate. As he spoke, he moved and the few of them flew out. At the same time, the video of the girl was causing a huge commotion in the Milky Way. It can't be? Someone is making use of the news of the Dragon Palace protecting the Sky Dragons to capture them. This is clearly going against the Dragon Palace. Gosh, going against the Dragon Palace? The Dragon Palace is a primary race in the universe. Although their strength is still unknown, they can sell so many battle angels. They shouldn't be weak. Who would be so daring? Could it be the work of other races in the universe? Under the video of the girl, there were all kinds of replies and speculations. The Dragon Palace said that they would protect the Sky Dragons. In the end, someone was capturing them around the volcano region. This was a slap to the Dragon Palace's face. Chapter 31:27. Within the Milky Way on the universe's AI, a video of a wyvern caused quite a stir. Because there were many topics about the Dragon Palace recently, the discussion about this matter was also unusually lively. Not long after that woman's video, another message caused a huge uproar. An old man who claimed to be a draconic dragon said that he wanted to go to the Dragon Palace to check on the situation, but was ambushed and attacked by the experts of the Nine Swords race. Fortunately, he reacted quickly and escaped the attack. According to his introduction, the one who attacked him was a peak-level god king. When the news spread, it caused quite a shock. Is this information real or fake? The Nine Swords race is capturing flood dragons around the volcano region. Are they trying to become enemies with the Dragon Palace? The race of the Nine Swords has always been hunting wyverns. This information is indeed possible. If that's true, will the Dragon Palace start a war with the Nine Swords tribe? The establishment of every primary race in the universe will cause a war. The Dragon Palace might really start a war with the Nine Swords race. On the universe AI, countless people were discussing in shock. At the same time, on a slightly backward planet next to the Milky Way in a small village, a woman was anxiously walking in the courtyard. Her face was filled with anxiety and unease. Bus. At this moment, Wang Xian, Tianjin and the rest appeared above and looked at the lady. Hello, I'm the Dragon King of Dragon Palace. Wang Xian and the rest landed in front of the lady and spoke plainly. Seeing the sudden appearance of Wang Xian, she was shocked. She looked at them from head to toe and immediately knelt down. Dragon King, please save my brother. My brother has been captured. Get up. Wang Xian looked at the girl and sighed. With a wave of his arm, he helped her up. What's your name? Wang Xian asked. Dragon King, my name is Jiao Jiao and my elder brother is Horn Dragon. The girl stood up and said. You have something on your brother, right? Give it to me. I'll find out where he is. Tianjin said. Don't worry, we will help you find your brother. Wang Xian assured him. Even if he died, the Dragon Palace would be able to save him. Thank you, Dragon King, thank you, Dragon King. Jiao Jiao quickly expressed her gratitude. Big Brother's Divine Kingdom is here, I will take you there. Divine Kingdom is even better. Tianjin nodded his head. Soon Wang Xian and the rest followed Jiao Jiao into her brother's holy kingdom. Tianjin waved his arm and began to set up a formation. At the side, Jiao Jiao's eyes were filled with anticipation as she sensed Tianjin's terrifying aura. When the Dragon Palace completely annihilated the remnants of the Ink Han clan, the heavenly formation obtained the witchcraft of the entire Ink Han clan. His current witchcraft foundation was not weak at all. As soon as the formation was set up, an image quickly appeared. In the image was a young man who was imprisoned. Around the young man. Can you lock onto his position? Wang Xian asked. The Dragon Palace is a bit troublesome. He should be in a secret place where the array can't detect him. Even with my strength, I can't find it. Then, it can only be the nests of a few primary races in the universe. Tianjin said with a slight frown. His words made Jiao Jiao's face turn pale. Can you lock onto their approximate location? Wang Xian asked. Let me try. Tianjin squinted his eyes and a black book appeared in his hand. Words floated in the air and began to assemble. Finally, a hazy image appeared in his mind. The image was very blurry. Tianjin's eyes flickered. There's only a weak image. We sent it to Prime Minister Turtle and got him to send someone to search for it. It shouldn't take long for them to find it. All right. Wang Xian nodded his head and looked at Jiao Jiao. Don't worry. The Dragon Palace will rescue your brother safely. Follow us to the Dragon Palace first. Yes, Dragon King. Jiao Jiao nodded her head heavily. Wang Xian waved his arm and kept her in the mother nest. The few of them moved and disappeared instantly. They returned to the Dragon Palace. Dragon King, there's new news on the artificial intelligence system. An expert suspected to be a sky dragon sent a message on the artificial intelligence system. He said that he was attacked by the Nine Swords race when he was rushing to the Dragon Palace. Prime Minister Turtle came over to report when Wang Xian and the rest arrived. The Nine Swords race? Wang Xian squinted his eyes and murderous intent flashed in them. Prime Minister Turtle, help her settle down. He waved his arm and released Jiao Jiao. Jiao Jiao looked around the Dragon Palace and opened her mouth slightly. Don't worry about your brother. We'll rescue him in a few days. You can rest in the Dragon Palace now. Prime Minister Turtle said to her. Thank you, thank you. Jiao Jiao nodded her head. Tianjin, gather all the universe supremacies of the Dragon Palace. We'll check the surroundings of the volcanic domain. I want to see if it's the Nine Swords and Dragon descendants. As Wang Xian spoke, he flew out directly. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Soon, all the universe supremacies of the Dragon Palace flew out with murderous intent in their eyes. In the Dragon Palace, Jiao Jiao's jaw dropped when she saw so many universe supremacies of the Dragon Palace. Dragon King, how dare they capture a sky dragon near our Dragon Palace? They have no respect for our Dragon Palace. Let's declare war on them. I want to see who will be the one killing who. After flying out of the Dragon Palace, the leaders of the Dragon Palace bellowed with murderous intent. Let's rescue those sky dragons first. Wang Xian said coldly as he flew towards the periphery of the volcanic domain. Wang. When he arrived at the periphery of the volcanic domain, Wang Xian waved his arm. The crescent moon hovered in the sky and surveyed the situation. At the same time, at the bottom of the Milky Way, a group of middle-aged and old men sat on a ship. Suddenly, the old man in the middle narrowed his eyes and stared at the glowing red ball in front of him. Someone is monitoring the situation over here. He stood up and said immediately. It should be the Dragon Palace. Now that the Sky Dragon on the Universe AI has spread the news over here, get ready. Let's check out the strength of the Dragon Palace. The old man in the middle said, "Send the news to the dragon descendants." An old man beside him said, "They were all universe supremacies of the Nine Swords race. Hunting the Sky Dragons was secondary. Their main goal was to test the strength of the Dragon Palace. It's a pity to be discovered so early. I still want to hunt more Sky Dragons." The universe supremacy of the Nine Swords on the right shook his head and said with disappointment, "Haha, as long as we can annihilate the Dragon Palace, will we be short of Sky Dragons?" The two universe supremacies of the Nine Swords race laughed eerily. The error-free chapters of the invincible Divine Dragon Cultivation System will continue to be updated on Qingdou. There will be no advertisements on the website. Please collect and recommend Qingdou. Please collect if you like Invincible Divine Dragon Cultivation System. Invincible Divine Dragon Cultivation System updates the fastest. Chapter 3128. You can search for Invincible Divine Dragon Cultivation System on Baidu. Wonderful Brush Pavilion. To find the latest chapter. To be able to become a primary race or a universe venerable, one had to have a strong foundation. Wang Xian had a powerful postnatal spiritual treasure like the crescent moon overhead. However, his strength had yet to reach rank 3 universe venerable. Hence, he could not control crescent moon overhead to be extremely stealthy. The Nine Swords and the Dragon Descendants had powerful anti-detection treasures. However, they did not escape immediately. Instead, they flew out and waited quietly. 3 universe venerables from the Nine Swords race, a dozen peak Emperor God experts, and the treasures of their race. Found them. At this moment, an image appeared in front of Wang Xian and the rest in a corner of the volcano region. In the image, the people from the Nine Swords race floated quietly at the bottom of the sea with their eyes squinted. "Dragon King, they sensed us. Aren't they arrogant? They did not escape." Tianjin's eyes were cold as he spoke. "The two races did not attack us directly. I guess they don't understand our foundation and have some reservations. Hence, they used this method to test our strength." Wang Xian said coldly. "Seems like they are confident that we can't keep all of them here." Orochi said with murderous intent. "In that case, we will keep them here today. Not a single one of them." Devil Fiend and the rest said coldly. "Wait. I guess the Nine Swords race and the Dragon Descendants must have joined forces. Soon, the Dragon Descendants will meet up with them." Wang Xian looked on expressionlessly. Tianjin and the rest nodded. "I'll set up a formation around here and set up a huge net." With a swift movement, Tianjin flew forward quickly and began to set up a formation. These formations were to prevent the Nine Swords race and the Dragon Descendants from escaping. Now, every member of the Dragon Palace was filled with murderous intent. They swore to kill all of them. The rest of the Dragon Palace members looked at the people from the Nine Swords race in front of them quietly. Time ticked by. "The Dragon Palace has sensed us. Why aren't they coming over?" At the same time, at the bottom of the Milky Way, the Universe Venerable in the middle of the Nine Swords race raised his eyebrows. "There is one possibility. The Dragon Palace feels that they are no match for us." The old man holding the giant sword on the right smiled faintly and said, "That's possible. According to the information we received, apart from obtaining the treasures of the Crescent Moon Venerable, he only killed a newly advanced Venerable. That newly advanced Venerable was killed unexpectedly and carelessly. I really don't believe that the Dragon Palace is that powerful." "That's right. At most, some of the battle angels in the Crescent Moon secret realm." The old man on the left said lightly. So. Just as they were talking, several figures flew towards them from behind. "Venerable Star Sword, is the Dragon Palace monitoring you?" The leading Venerable from the Dragon race glanced at them and asked. "Yes, we detected that someone is watching us. It should be the Dragon Palace, but they didn't come over." The leader of the Nine Swords race, Venerable Star Sword, replied with a smile. "He didn't come over? If we come, won't they be even more afraid to come over?" The Venerable in the middle of the Dragon Descendants was slightly taken aback and said, "I think our two races can discuss the matter of attacking the Dragon Palace." Venerable Star Sword said faintly, "I think it's fine." The old man in the middle of the Dragon Descendants nodded his head. Now that the AI says that the other Flood Dragons should know about the danger here, they won't come over. Let's go back and discuss the matter of destroying the Dragon Palace. The Venerables from the Dragon Descendants and the Nine Swords race decided. Haha, trash Dragon Palace. In the back, A seemingly unruly old man raised his middle finger and mocked the people above. They knew that they were being monitored by the Dragon Palace. His mouth was wide open and they could see what he was saying. Buzz buzz buzz. However, at this moment, a terrifying aura surged over. The entire Milky Way's seabed began to change as a foreign world seemed to be invading. The world was changing. The Nine Swords race and the dragon descendants, who were conversing, had a change of expression as they looked ahead immediately. Rumble. However, at this moment, a majestic dragon palace was floating above them. Although the dragon palace couldn't withstand the attacks of the universe venerables, one had to know that there was a dragon cave of Tianjin and the others inside. Their dragon caves were equivalent to their own cosmos god kingdom. They contained a vast and boundless might. It could be said that summoning the dragon palace was Wang Xian's strongest attack. With Tianjin and the others, their strength could also reach its peak. This time, Wang Xian had used all his strength to deal with the 6 venerables from the Nine Swords race and the dragon descendants. Swish swish swish. All the venerables from the dragon palace appeared in front, behind, left and right. Their faces were filled with cold murderous intent as they locked onto the Nine Swords race and the dragon descendants. I swear, I'll make all of you suffer so much that you'll wish you were dead. Wang Xian stared at the Nine Swords race and the dragon descendants and said calmly. How dare you insult our dragon palace? I'll torture you for 10 years. Demon Fiend stared at the old man who was scolding the dragon palace and said coldly. What? The 6 venerables from the Nine Swords race and the dragon descendants sensed the horrifying aura around them. Looking at the 20-odd venerables from the dragon palace hovering around them, their expressions changed drastically. How is this possible? Why does your dragon palace have so many venerables? Venerable Star Sword's heart tightened as cold sweat trickled down his face. His eyes fell on Wang Xian and his expression changed drastically. The dead don't need to know. Wang Xian moved. Without giving them any time, he flapped his unbeginning saint wings and attacked them instantly. Kill. If I let you guys escape today, I'll chop off my head. Orochi roared violently and attacked them directly. In an instant, the seawater at the bottom of the Milky Way evaporated. 9 divine dragons of 9 different attributes descended from the dragon palace in the sky. The appearance of the dragon palace also meant that Tianjin and Orochi had summoned their god nations over. The battle of summoning the god nations was usually a battle to the death. Oh no, they have more than 20 venerables and level 2 universe venerables. Run run run. One of the venerables from the dragon descendants roared in horror. At this very moment, the old man who called the dragon palace trash was as pale as a sheet and shivered in fear. They couldn't participate in a battle of the venerables. A single wave of energy was enough to crush him. In particular, he realized in despair that a venerable from the dragon palace had locked onto him. Chapter 31-29. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Under the suppression of Dragon Palace, Wang Xian pushed his speed to the maximum. The Heavenly Formation's formation descended. The other 20 members of Dragon Palace unleashed their most terrifying attacks. The entire sky changed color. How can there be so many horrifying universe supremacies in Dragon Palace? How is this possible? Venerable Star Sword exclaimed in disbelief. Looking at the horrifying attacks, he could not react at all and could only defend passively. But could he defend against the attacks of a rank 2 universe supremacy? Defend against 3 times the number of rank 1 universe supremacies? When Wang Xian pushed his speed to the maximum, it was comparable to a rank 3 universe supremacy. At such a distance, it was not something they could defend against. Wang Xian appeared behind a universe supremacy and his dragon claw pierced into his body. Cough cough, no no no. I don't want to die. His face was filled with horror as he roared. What? What terrifying speed. To the side, the other 6 venerables widened their eyes in shock. How could they defend against such a terrifying speed? Bam. Wang Xian swung his arm and flung it towards the back. Bam. Roving Heavens swung the sea-calming godly needle heavily and suppressed the supremacy who was almost killed in an instant. Rumble, rumble, rumble. At this moment, the other members of Dragon Palace had launched their attacks. It was especially so for the Sky Formation. With Tianjin's strength alone, he could kill all of them. Dragon Palace had mobilized all their forces this time, which was a huge compliment to them. Defend. The remaining 5 universe venerables trembled as they did their best to raise their defenses. Swish swish swish. Before the attacks reached them, the figures of Dragon Palace were already flying towards them. Bam bam bam. In the next instant they were completely enveloped by energy. The 5 of them were horrified and vomited blood. "Save me, Laozu, save me." At this moment, an old man's terrified and despairing scream could be heard from the side. "Ye old thing, how dare you mock our dragon palace? I will serve you well from now on." Emo Sha's eerie voice was heard and the black liquid on his body restrained him. The old man was in despair and his face was drained of blood. If he was killed, then so be it. However, if he was controlled by the venerable from the dragon palace, he could not imagine what kind of disaster would befall him. What kind of torture was he going to suffer? A universe supremacy torturing him, just thinking about it made him terrified. But at this moment he heard a scream coming from the side. When he looked over again, he saw 2 strange black and white shadows appear behind their patriarch. Extremely sharp thorns pierced through their bodies. He opened his eyes wide, feeling the vast power around him, and slowly closed his eyes. He knew that all of them were finished. They were completely finished. In fact, the 9 Swords race and the Dragon Descendants race would soon have to face an incomparably terrifying enemy. Bam bam bam. At the side, the 5 venerables were desperately trying to escape. However, faced with the encirclement of the Dragon Palace members, even one of the venerables who had a powerful escape artifact was destroyed by Wang Xian's Divine Dragon and Saint Dragon Shadow. The Divine Dragon's dragon image instantly appeared around the enemy, trapping them. The dragon image could even attach itself to the enemy's body and deal a fatal blow. Before he could escape from the defensive perimeter, his body directly exploded. 2 minutes later, the 5 venerables were suppressed and one was destroyed. "No, don't kill us, don't kill us. The 9 Swords race is willing to compensate you. We will give you all our sky dragons." Venerable Star Sword of the 9 Swords race saw that Wang Xian and the rest did not kill them, and his face was pale as he pleaded for mercy. "Don't you think it's too late?" Wang Xian looked at them coldly with a hint of mockery on his face. "Not too late, not too late. We are willing to give you all our treasures. Don't kill us, I beg you." A universe supremacy of the Dragon Descendants race begged for mercy. "If we knew the strength of the Dragon Palace, we would not dare to provoke you. Let us go, let us go." A universe supremacy at the side said loudly. They were really afraid now. 9 Swords race, Dragon Descendants race. You have killed many disciples of the fairy dragon race over the years. You did not expect this day to come, right? Xian Ling Yuan walked over and stared at them furiously. Fairy dragon race. Venerable Star Sword and the rest turned pale as they stared at Xian Ling Yuan in disbelief. Wang Xian did not care about their horrified expressions. He walked over and grabbed the head of a universe supremacy with his dragon claw, using soul devouring. "Wang, summon your Cosmos God Nation." A loud voice rang in his mind. He nodded his head in a daze. Very soon, a Cosmos God Nation appeared at the side. After the Cosmos God Nation was summoned, Wang Xian absorbed some information. With a slap of his arm, he killed the Cosmos God Nation. "What did you do? What did you do to him?" At the side, Venerable Star Sword and the rest looked on in shock. Wang Xian did not say a word as he did the same thing. This filled Venerable Star Sword and the rest with despair as their bodies trembled uncontrollably. 20 minutes later, 5 Cosmos God Nations floated in the surroundings. 2 of them were of the lightning attribute, 2 of the darkness attribute and 1 of the fire attribute. The 3 attribute God Nations were devoured by the Dragon Palace. I have some information here. Roving Demon Sky, Roving Heavens, and the rest of the supremacies, head over to the 9 Swords race and the Dragon Descendants race and annihilate their important legions. Prime Minister Turtle, send a message on the AI to order the 2 races to release all the wyverns immediately. Otherwise they will bear the consequences. Wang Xian instructed the members of the Dragon Palace. Yes, Dragon King. Prime Minister Turtle and the rest nodded their heads with cold eyes. Let's move. Wang Xian nodded his head and the members of the Dragon Palace immediately moved. At this moment, within the Dragon Palace, Jiao Jiao was shocked to see the experts of the Dragon Palace annihilating 6 universe supremacies. Those were universe supremacies, high and mighty universe supremacies. Yet, they were all annihilated by the experts of the Dragon Palace. Was this the strength of the Dragon Palace? Just as Jiao Jiao was in shock, a message from the AI shocked everyone. The message was a domineering statement issued by Prime Minister Turtle, warning the 9 Swords race and the Dragon Descendants race. Release all the wyverns you have captured immediately. Otherwise you will bear the consequences. It was a simple message, but it sent everyone into a frenzy. The invincible Divine Dragon Cultivation system will continue to be updated on the mobile game bar. There will be no advertisements on the website. Please collect and recommend the mobile game bar. Please collect those who like the Invincible Divine Dragon Cultivation System. Invincible Divine Dragon Cultivation System. Chapter 3130. Holy shit, the Nine Swords race isn't the only race that hunts the draconic dragon. There's also the dragon descendant race? Is the Dragon Palace so arrogant? He actually wanted the Nine Swords race and the dragon race to release the hostages? How much confidence does he have? The Dragon Palace is so powerful? This is the Nine Swords race and the dragon descendant race. On the Universe AI, when everyone saw Dragon Palace's statement, their faces were filled with shock. The Dragon Descendants race and the Nine Swords race were powerful races with deep roots in the Milky Way. Their strength was exceptionally terrifying. Now, the Dragon Palace actually made such a statement. They were completely looking down on the two major clans. Moreover, they even used a commanding tone. Moreover, some of them were puzzled. Why would the Dragon's Descendants and the Nine Swords tribe deliberately oppose the Dragon Palace and hunt the Flood Dragon? Was it because they knew the strength of the Dragon Palace? Did they think that the Dragon Palace was a pushover? Or were there other reasons? A small Dragon Palace dares to be arrogant in front of us, the Dragon Descendants? How dare you order us? Ah! You've just arrived in the Milky Way and you dare to provoke us, the Nine Swords and the Dragon Descendants? Who gave them the courage? I think that Dragon Palace has a death wish. Our Dragon Descendants and the Nine Swords can easily destroy Dragon Palace. This was especially true for the disciples of the Dragon race and the Nine Swords race. As one of the two largest races in the Milky Way, their territory was abnormally large, and the number of disciples they had was terrifying. When the disciples of the two races saw the message released by the Dragon Palace, their faces were filled with coldness and mockery. A Dragon Palace that had just come to the Milky Way to establish itself had already warned them with such a tone. They were simply courting death. All the supercomputers in the Milky Way were discussing the Dragon Palace's announcement. Most people felt that the Dragon Palace was too arrogant. With the strength of the Nine Swords race and the Dragon Descendants race, how could a Dragon Palace that had just established itself in the Milky Way compare? However, while everyone was discussing the arrogance of the Dragon Palace on the AI, the Nine Swords tribe and the Dragon Descendants tribe were in complete chaos. At the Nine Swords race's territory, the Nine Swords race patriarch, another old man and all peak Emperor God experts of Nine Swords gathered together. There was a trace of fear on their faces, and their expressions kept changing. The Nine Swords race had a total of 5 universe supremacies. Among them, the Nine Swords race's patriarch was the strongest. The Nine Sword race leader wasn't a level 2 universe supremacy, he was a level 1 universe supremacy. However, in the past he had obtained a huge opportunity, and a powerful divine sword had entered his body. Right now he was a divine sword. This allowed him, a level 1 universe venerable, to unleash the power of a level 2 universe venerable. Against a universe level 2 venerable he was not weak at all. The 5 universe supremacies of the Nine Swords race had just received grievous news. The life plates belonging to Paragon Star Sword and the others shattered, including the group of Peak Emperor God experts. The shattering of the life token signified his complete death. This filled their faces with panic and fear. What kind of strength was it to be able to directly kill 3 universe supremacies? Star Sword Paragon and the rest had fallen in the Milky Way. Thinking back to the Universe AI statement on Dragon Palace, the result was obvious. It was the Dragon Palace. The entire hall was dead silent, and one could hear a pin drop. They were all waiting for news. Patriarch, the Dragon Descendant race has also sent news. Their Dragon Descendant Universe Patriarch has also fallen. At this moment, an old man beside saw the news on the Universe AI. His pupils constricted as he shouted. 3 universe supremacies from the Nine Swords race had fallen, in addition to the 3 Dragon Descendant race supremacies, a total of 6. They actually died. They didn't even have the chance to escape. That Dragon Palace definitely has a rank 2 universe venerable, and it might not be just 1, there might even be 2. Otherwise they wouldn't have been left behind. The Nine Swords race supremacy's body trembled as he clenched his fist. The reason why Dragon Palace dared to be so arrogant on the Universe AI is because they have enough power, because they are not afraid of our 2 races. Unexpected, really unexpected. As he said that, he muttered softly. He had never expected Dragon Palace to be so terrifying. He had never expected that the Nine Swords race would lose 3 universe supremacies. These were universe supremacies, 3 of them had fallen, causing their power to decrease by 30%. This was a huge loss. The fall of 3 supremacies, and they had completely offended a powerful race, Dragon Palace. There might be trouble next. Race leader, there is news from the dragon descendant race. The dragon descendant race leader wishes to speak with you. At this moment, an old man beside him spoke. The Nine Swords race had lost 3 supremacies, and the dragon descendant race had also lost 3. In addition to the one who died not long ago, they had lost 4 supremacies in a short period of time. Although the dragon descendant race was strong, they were not much stronger than the Nine Swords race. They could not bear the loss of 4 supremacies. Alright, I will contact them. The Nine Swords race leader took out the universe AI and waved his arm forward. Buzz. Slowly, a black fog appeared in front of them. The Nine Swords race did not stop it. The black fog condensed into a burly old man, holding a dragon bone scepter, his expression solemn. However, his expression was extremely ugly. Dragon Palace's power has exceeded our expectations. The dragon descendant race leader said with a gloomy expression. This time we are in deep trouble. The Nine Swords race leader stood up slowly and sighed. The dragon descendant race leader fell silent. Never in their wildest dreams did they expect that 6 supremacies of the universe would fall near the Dragon Palace's volcano region. Dragon Palace's power should not be enough to annihilate us. If they really had the power to suppress us, they would not have issued a warning on the AI and would have attacked us directly. A few seconds later, the dragon descendant race leader said, Dragon descendant race leader, let's work together. At a time like this, only by working together can we deal with Dragon Palace and even take revenge. The Nine Swords race leader stared at him and clenched his fist. All right. The dragon descendant race leader did not hesitate and agreed immediately. Immediately announce on the AI that the Nine Swords race will work closely with the dragon descendant race. Inform all the disciples that the Nine Swords race is preparing for war. The Nine Swords race leader ordered immediately. Yes, race leader. The disciples at the side immediately carried out the order. The dragon descendant race will make the same announcement. Also, I suggest opening the teleportation formation between our 2 races. The dragon descendant race leader's eyes flickered as he said. All right. The Nine Swords race leader nodded. Opening the teleportation formation would allow them to quickly reinforce each other. Chapter 31-31. Just as everyone was discussing Dragon Palace, the Nine Swords race, and the dragon descendants were mocking Dragon Palace, they didn't know what was going on between the Nine Swords race and the dragon descendants. But very quickly, another piece of news sent the entire Milky Way into an uproar. The Nine Swords race and the dragon descendants posted on the AI at the same time that they were forming an alliance. The moment this news came out, not only were the ordinary citizens shocked, but the other lower-level races were also shocked. The dragon descendants and Nine Swords race were the top lower-level races in the Milky Way. The 2 of them were forming an alliance? What were they trying to do? Dragon Palace just made an announcement for Nine Swords and the dragon descendants to release the wyverns. Now the dragon descendants and Nine Swords have formed an alliance. Are they forming an alliance to destroy Dragon Palace? That's possible. Isn't the response of Nine Swords and the dragon descendants too strong? How many forces in the Milky Way can withstand the dragon descendants and Nine Swords alliance? Dragon Palace is going to pay the price for their arrogance. Who knows, Dragon Palace might be destroyed soon. They've just arrived in the Milky Way and they're already so arrogant. On the AI, countless people were discussing. Even the other lower-level race disciples joined in. After this piece of news came out, another piece of news quickly spread out, which also confirmed everyone's thoughts. The dragon descendants and Nine Swords race had entered combat mode. It was best if they were on high alert. The moment this news came out, everyone was in an uproar. Aha, Dragon Palace should die. How dare they be so arrogant to us? It's been hundreds of millions of years since anyone dared to be so arrogant. It's going to start. Our Nine Swords race will form an alliance with the dragon descendants to destroy Dragon Palace. How dare they be arrogant to us? This is the consequence. When the disciples of both races received this news, their first reaction was that their race was going to attack Dragon Palace. Hence they were mocking them on the AI. Mocking Dragon Palace's arrogance. Mocking Dragon Palace's overestimation. The others were shocked when they saw this news. As expected of a lower-level race in the Milky Way. How domineering. They were mumbling. Clan leader, there's something wrong with the information on the AI. Should we announce what we should do with the wyverns? At the same time, Some of the Nine Swords race experts were shocked when they saw the information on the AI. They did not unite to destroy the Dragon Palace. They didn't issue the highest alert to start a war. It was to prevent the Dragon Palace from attacking. If the Dragon Palace saw the information on the artificial intelligence, would they come and deal with them in advance? About the Flood Dragon? The eyes of the Nine Swords tribe leader flickered as he clenched his fists. The enmity has already been established. Moreover, the Dragon Palace has killed 3 of our venerables. How can we give the Sky Dragon to them? The powerhouse from the Nine Swords race nodded his head slightly. The enmity between them and the Dragon Palace had been established. Putting aside the matter of the Crescent Moon mystic realm, just the fact that 3 supremacies had been killed was enough to make them irreconcilable. This is bad, Patriarch. This is bad. Our Heavenly Sword Corps has been annihilated. The experts of our Shadow Sword Corps have also been annihilated. Hundreds of thousands of life tokens have been destroyed. They are all disciples of the various corps. Suddenly at this moment, an extremely panicked voice sounded from outside. An old man walked in a panic, his face pale as he roared. What? The Patriarch of the Nine Swords race, who was sitting at the top of the hall, had a drastic change in expression. He stood up suddenly with bloodshot eyes. The few strong core of the Nine Swords race have been annihilated. They were all killed without a sound. The life tokens of hundreds of thousands of disciples have been destroyed. They were all Emperor God-level disciples. The old man who came to report said with a panicked expression. The Heavenly Sword Corps and Shadow Sword Corps were the secret core of the Nine Swords race. They were also the strongest core of the Nine Swords race. Now that they had been annihilated all of a sudden, it was definitely done by a universe supremacy level expert. Moreover, given the strength of the 2 corps, it was definitely not done by a universe supremacy. The loss of their elite army was equally terrifying. These disciples were their elites, the core of their army. They were their main fighting power. Now that they had been annihilated, it was enough to hurt the Nine Swords race deeply. Do you know who did it? The Patriarch of the Nine Swords race turned pale as he asked. No, I don't know. It should be Dragon Palace. Only they have this power. The old man guessed. Without the old man's reply, the Patriarch of the Nine Swords race also guessed that it was done by Dragon Palace. Could only be them. He took a deep breath and closed his eyes slightly. The positions of the 2 corps were very secretive. They were even personally led by their supremacies. Only they could mobilize the 2 corps and only they knew the specific dangers of the 2 corps. Clearly, Dragon Palace had obtained some information from Supremacy Star Sword. He slowly opened his eyes and took out the Universe AI to send a message to the Dragon Race Patriarch. In the end he received the same message. The Dragon Race had also been attacked. They had suffered a horrifying attack. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers from their corps had been killed. When the Nine Swords race and the Dragon race knew that their corps had been killed, they fell silent. Patriarch, Dragon Palace has made a statement. Dragon Palace has declared war on the Nine Swords race and the Dragon race. They will hunt down the disciples of our 2 races. At this moment, another piece of news came, causing the Nine Swords race Patriarch's face to change. Fuck, Dragon Palace has declared war on the Nine Swords race and the Dragon race. Are they going to fight? 666. Putting everything else aside, Dragon Palace is really ferocious. The Dragon race and the Nine Swords race had just teamed up to annihilate them and they immediately declared war. You won't die if you don't court death? I feel like Dragon Palace is courting death. At the same time, countless people saw another message from Dragon Palace on the AI and were in an uproar. All of them began to watch the news excitedly. Speaking of which, the Milky Way had not been this lively for a long time. Some of the other primary races in the universe were also happy to sit on the sidelines and watch the tigers fight. At the same time they could also see the true strength of Dragon Palace. After all, the sudden appearance of a primary race in the Milky Way would definitely give them some resources. Now that they were fighting, it was a good thing for the other primary races in the universe. You won't die if you don't court death? Within Dragon Palace, Wang Xian looked at the information on the AI and the messages sent by Tianzhen and the others. His face turned cold. He wanted to see who was the one courting death. Chapter 31-32. The 2 races bow their heads. Damn it, damn it. Does Dragon Palace really think we're pushovers? In the Nine Swords race's main hall, the Nine Swords race leader looked at the message on the AI with a furious expression. In a short period of time they had first ordered them to release the wyverns, and now they were declaring war on them. Did they really think that the two races were pushovers? The Nine Swords race leader's expression changed and his eyes were cold. But slowly he revealed a trace of helplessness. The Nine Swords race had a deep foundation and countless disciples. They didn't even know how many disciples Dragon Palace had. If Dragon Palace really hunted their disciples, the entire Nine Swords race would be in a state of panic. He turned on the AI and spoke with the dragon race leader for a while. Announce on the AI that we will release all the wyverns. A few minutes later, the Nine Swords race leader announced. The rest of the Nine Swords race experts were silent for a while and nodded. With the current trend on the AI, once the Nine Swords race made such an announcement, it was obvious that they were afraid. But if they didn't release the wyverns and Dragon Palace hunted their disciples, how could they resist? They had so many disciples and so many planets. With their current strength they couldn't take care of them all. If a universe supremacy from Dragon Palace attacked, he could destroy a planet in an instant. They couldn't resist at all. The experts of the Nine Swords race looked at each other and immediately went to make the announcement. The Nine Swords race will immediately release all the wyverns in hopes of developing peacefully with Dragon Palace. A piece of information was released and everyone was confused. What was going on? The dragon race will immediately release all the wyverns in hopes of developing peacefully with Dragon Palace. However, very quickly the dragon descendants also released a message that caused everyone to boil. Especially the ordinary disciples of the Nine Swords race and the dragon race. They were just mocking Dragon Palace on the AI and saying that they were courting death and would soon be destroyed. Now their race actually made such an announcement. Everyone was very clear about the message in this statement. What's going on? What's going on? Oh my god, the dragon race and the Nine Swords race made such an announcement. Are they bowing to Dragon Palace? They're obviously bowing to Dragon Palace by making such an announcement. Then the previous announcement, the dragon race and the Nine Swords race allied to attack Dragon Palace? Was it for self-protection? Everyone was discussing fervently on the AI. The change this time was too great. It was so loud that no one could react in time. How powerful was the Dragon Palace? How could he make the dragon's descendants and the Nine Swords bow their heads? Ferocious dragon crossing the river? At the same time, in front of the Wangyin mainland, dozens of drakes were brought here by the powerhouses of the Nine Swords race and released. The dozens of sky dragons looked at each other in shock. What's going on? The people of the Nine Swords race actually let us go. What's going on? A middle-aged man watched in disbelief as the powerhouses of the Nine Swords race left. I don't know. A woman shook her head. Guys, look. The Nine Swords race has really released all the wyverns. Just how much pressure did they have to endure? A single statement from the Dragon Palace actually made them release all the wyverns they had hunted. The strength of the Dragon Palace is definitely terrifying. Otherwise, with the strength of the Dragon Descendant and Nine Swords, they wouldn't be afraid of joining forces. At this moment, the sounds of discussion could be heard from the surroundings. The group of wyverns widened their eyes when they heard the voices from the surroundings. They were shocked. Dragon Palace? It's the Dragon Palace? When they heard the discussions, they were extremely excited. Let's go. Let's go to the Dragon Palace. Let's go to the Dragon Palace. The group of wyverns was extremely excited. They were hunted down by the Nine Swords race and released just because of a single statement from the Dragon Palace. One could imagine how powerful the Dragon Palace was. With such a powerful Dragon Palace as their backing, they would no longer have to be afraid. The group of wyverns immediately flew towards the Dragon Palace. This time no one dared to stop them. At the side of the dragon's descendants, a group of wyverns was also flying towards the Dragon Palace with excitement. Dragon King, the two major races have announced the release of all the wyverns. They have given in. In the Dragon Palace, Prime Minister Turtle came to the Dragon King Hall and reported to Wang Xian. Wang Xian nodded his head slightly, squinted his eyes and asked, when will Aosier and the rest complete their breakthroughs? I contacted them a few days ago. Based on Aosier's guess, they will complete their breakthroughs in about a month. Prime Minister Turtle replied. Aosier and the rest were currently devouring the Crescent Moon God Kingdom. A rank 3 Universe God Kingdom could allow Aosier and the other 3 devouring dragons to reach the Second Order Universe Venerable Realm. After Aosier and the rest advanced, the number of Second Order Universe Venerables in the Dragon Palace would reach 6. A month. Just nice. This time Sky Array and the rest have obtained a large number of corpses. It will greatly improve our members. After a month, when Aosier and the rest advance, we will attack the Nine Swords and the Dragon's descendants. Wang Xian's eyes were cold. According to the information left behind by the Crescent Moon Venerable, the Nine Swords and the Dragon's descendants both had second-order universe venerables. Moreover, they had established their foothold in the Milky Way for billions of years. Their headquarters would definitely have strong defenses. Given their current strength, it would be extremely difficult to attack the two major races. They could only wait for Wuxia and the rest to break through. This time, Sky Array and the rest had hunted the core armies of the Nine Swords and the Dragon's descendants, killing hundreds of thousands of God Emperors. As the elites and core armies of the two major races, their strength was not lower than a fourth-order God Emperor. These corpses could greatly improve the strength of the members of the Dragon Palace. Yes, Dragon King. Prime Minister Turtle nodded. His eyes shone brightly as he left. This was the first battle since the Dragon Palace entered the Milky Way. It was also the first battle of the Dragon Palace in the center of the universe. Over the next few days, all members of the Dragon Palace entered the Dragon Transformation Pool to improve. On the third day, the alternative dragons arrived at the front of the Dragon Palace. They passed the Dragon Gate and joined the Dragon Palace. Over the next few days, more and more alternative dragons headed to the Dragon Palace. The two major races bowed to the Dragon Palace, boosting the reputation of the Dragon Palace. At this time, no one dared to offend the Dragon Palace. Time passed day by day. Half a month later, the improvement of the members of the Dragon Palace ended. The number of fifth-order God Emperors and above reached a terrifying 200,000. The rest of the Dragon Palace members had broken through to the God Emperor realm. Millions of Dragon Palace God Emperors. Chapter 31-33. The Dragon Palace is here to exterminate them. All members of Dragon Palace get ready. A month later, an order was issued throughout the Dragon Palace. Disciples immediately flew to the Dragon Field located in the Dragon Palace. Wang Xian stood quietly in front of the Dragon Field. The leaders of Dragon Palace stood at the forefront. The leaders of the Berserk Dragons, Roving Heavens and Ao Qi. The leader of the Dragon Palace Dragon Guards, Roving Sword. Ao Feng Huang, the leader of the Heavenly Lightning and Earthly Fire Dragon and Phoenix species. The leader of the Spiky Dragons, Roving Demon. The leader of the Arrow Dragons, Mao Zisen. Ao Xingmu, the leader of the Starwood Dragons. The leader of the Imperial Dragon species, Ao Tuesday. The leader of the Venomous Horned Dragons, Yamada no Demon Fiend. Dragon Magi, the leader of the Dragon species, Heavenly Formation. The support members of the Fairy Dragon Clan and the Dolphin Clan. This was a group of combat dragons from the Dragon Palace. The Firehammer Clan did not participate. A total of 500,000 members of the Dragon Palace flew over quickly. Greetings, Dragon King. Members of Dragon Palace came to the Dragon Field and lined up neatly. They bowed respectfully and loudly. Today is the day of the expedition against the Dragon Descendants. All members prepare yourselves. Wang Xian swept his gaze across the group of Dragon Palace members and shouted in a deep voice. Fight. The disciples of Dragon Palace raised their arms and shouted. Alright, let's go. Wang Xian narrowed his eyes and ordered. Woo! Woo woo! A roar came from the side. Xiaolan and Xiao Zhai swayed their huge bodies and let out a low roar. So. One by one, the members moved and immediately flew towards Xiaolan's body. Wang Xian moved and landed on Xiaolan's body. On the other side, Ao Xia landed on Little Blue's body. Depart. Wang Xian replied plainly. Woo! Woo woo! Fight! Xiaolan roared and immediately flew out of the Dragon Palace. Dragon Descendant, 9 Swords. Do you really think that the Dragon Palace will just let it go? Wang Xian stared ahead with a cold look in his eyes. In this 1 month, the Dragon Palace didn't make any announcements on the universe artificial intelligence, nor did they make any movements. He had been waiting for this day. He had promised the Fairy Dragon Clan that he would destroy the 9 Swords of the Dragon Clan and the Skeleton Clan. Now, it was time to start with the 9 Swords race, the Dragon Descendant race. Ao Xia and the rest had completed their upgrades. This time, the Dragon Palace had mobilized all its elite forces. I can finally take revenge. The Dragonkin race, the 9 Swords race, has killed many of our Wyvern brothers and sisters. This time we can finally make them pay the price. Aha, this day has finally arrived. Back then, my father was hunted down by the 9 Swords race. To think that I would be able to take revenge one day. On Xiaolan's body, behind the disciples of Dragon Palace, there was a group of Dragon Palace members. They were the members who joined the Dragon Palace in the past month. At this moment, they were filled with excitement and their faces were filled with murderous intent. Here in the Milky Way, the flood dragon with the divine dragon bloodline lived in fear, not daring to reveal its identity. Many of their elders had been hunted down and killed by the descendants of the Nine Swords. Now that they saw such a powerful dragon palace and their powerful background, all of them were excited. Everyone in the fairy dragon clan felt the same. Revenge. Make them pay in blood. Little Blue and Little Zoe were now more than 600 kilometers long. From afar they looked like a huge island. They contained a terrifying aura. Now they had the strength of a rank 1 universe supremacy. Their huge bodies and unique talents made them extremely fast. Little Blue and Little Zoe appeared in the sky above the Milky Way. They opened their mouths and a black hole appeared. Then they entered and disappeared. When they appeared again they had traveled a long distance. This terrifying speed left universe venerable rank 1 existences completely in the dust. The Nine Swords race and the Dragonkin race were very far apart. The Dragonkin race was located on the right side of the Wangyin mainland. Their lair was located in a void mountain range. The mountain range that was suspended in the void was in a row. It was like a divine dragon lying in the void, hidden in the clouds. The entire lair of the Dragonkin race was unusually vast. This territory had been operated by the entire Dragonkin race for hundreds of millions of years. There was a hidden power in it. Around this mountain range were the planets of the Dragonkin race. They were densely packed in the starry sky. They were like stars in the starry sky. Wang Xian's first target was the Dragonkin race. Firstly, the Dragonkin race was stronger. Secondly, the Dragonkin race had thunder sacred feathers. Previously, when he killed the 3 supremacies of the Dragonkin race, he only obtained 6 thunder sacred feathers from them. Now he had a total of 14 with him. However, he was still short of 35 to collect. He wanted to see if the remaining sacred feathers were with the Dragonkin race. Little Blue and Little Zoe traversed the sky above the Milky Way rapidly. Their speed was abnormally terrifying. Even a universe supremacy would need to fly for 2 days. However, they took about 10 hours to reach the edge of the Milky Way. In the starry sky at the edge of the Milky Way, stars appeared in their sight. Wang Xian squinted his eyes and looked at the void in front of him. Little Blue opened its mouth and a black hole appeared again. They entered it one after another. What kind of giant space beast is this? Oh my god, it's so huge. SSS black hole. Those 2 giant space beasts broke a black hole and entered it. What kind of superpower is this? At this moment there were more people at the edge of the Milky Way. When Little Blue, Little Zoe and Little Zoe appeared, everyone was shocked. That huge body, that savage might cause people to tremble. That giant beast looks like the one from the Immortal Palace War Pet Auction. However, it looks much bigger. Some experts looked at the familiar figure and guessed doubtfully. Soon, the news of 2 huge giant space beasts that were suspected to be at the universe supremacy level spread rapidly. Dragon King were almost there. As they continued traversing the starry sky, they were getting closer to the base camp of the Dragonkin race. Prime Minister Turtle looked at the map and said to Wang Xian, "Enter their base camp directly and eliminate the 2 universe supremacies from the Dragonkin race." Wang Xian's eyes flickered coldly as he ordered. Woo woo woo. Upon hearing Wang Xian's command, another black hole appeared in front of Little Blue. He dived down directly. Ka ka ka. In the next moment they appeared in the sky above a huge mountain range. However, as soon as they appeared, a dark energy rumbled in the surrounding space and landed on Little Blue's body. Little Blue's body shook slightly and the law of darkness collapsed immediately. Woo woo woo. He let out a furious roar and a wave of barbaric power rushed downwards. The terrifying aura caused the wind and clouds in the entire space to change. Dragon Palace is here to annihilate the Dragonkin race. Wang Xian stared down and said coldly. Chapter 31-34. The Dragon Palace is here to annihilate the clan below. The Dragon Palace is here to annihilate the clan. A cold and dignified voice rang out, spreading throughout the entire mountain range of the dragon race's base camp. The sudden appearance of Shaolan's residents immediately attracted everyone's attention. Their sudden appearance immediately put the entire dragon clan on high alert. What? The Dragon Palace is here to annihilate the clan? The Dragon Palace is here to attack us? Look above. Are those 2 galactic beasts from the Dragon Palace? Below them was the base camp of the dragon clan. When the disciples below saw the beasts that covered the starry sky, they were shocked. All members of the Dragon Palace, prepare to attack. Wang Xian barked and ordered. Boom boom boom. In the next moment, the 500,000 members of the Dragon Palace flew down from Xiaolan's residence. Without the slightest hesitation, beams of mighty energy bombarded the ground below. Wang Xian waved his arm and a crescent moon rose into the sky. Images appeared before him. Combining the information in his mind, he fixed his eyes on a mountain peak ahead. Seal that place. He waved his arm. Yes, Dragon King. Tianjin, Aoxia and the rest did not hesitate and immediately attacked that mountain peak. Oh no, the Dragon Palace is attacking. Damn it. How dare the Dragon Palace attack the Dragon Clan in our Dragon Mountain? Do they think we are pushovers? From below, the mighty energy landed on the mountain peak. All the disciples of the Dragon Clan were shocked as they quickly dodged to the side. At this moment, on the peak at the center of the Dragon Mountain, the patriarch of the Dragon Tribe and two elders moved and instantly appeared in a hall at the top of the mountain. They stood in the main hall and raised their heads to look at their surroundings. Their faces were filled with embarrassment. The Dragon Palace is attacking us. They are attacking us directly. The clan leader of the dragon's descendants had a violent look on his face. Looking at the experts from Dragon Palace who were attacking them, his eyes were filled with coldness. Activate the defensive array. Activate the Dragon Mountain. We, the Dragon Clan, have been in the universe for hundreds of millions of years. Do you think we are pushovers? Dragon Palace? Do they really think they can annihilate us? Kill. Kill. Beside him, a dragon descendant race universe venerable stared at the sky and roared. Inform the Nine Swords tribe and ask them to send reinforcements. If we are destroyed, the Dragon Palace will definitely attack the Nine Swords tribe. The other universe venerable roared with an incomparably gloomy expression. They had never expected the Dragon Palace to attack them. According to their speculations, the Dragon Palace was not powerful enough to invade them. But now the army of Dragon Palace was here. However, the dragon descendants had existed for billions of years, and they were not to be trifled with. It wasn't like he didn't have any foundation. This was especially true for their headquarters. After billions of years of operation, this place had long been built into an impenetrable fortress. Dragon Mountain, move? Let's go out and fight. The patriarch of the Dragon Clan roared coldly. His figure moved and instantly appeared outside the palace. All disciples of the dragon race, prepare to face the enemy. All experts, organize yourselves and fight. Dragon Palace, our dragon descendants have been established in the universe for so long. How can we be destroyed so easily? Today we will make you pay the price. The clan leader of the dragon race shouted as he stared coldly at the sky array roving crab and the others who were charging over. His pupils constricted as he felt their aura. 2 level 2 universe venerables? He focused his gaze and roared again, Dragon Mountain rise. Rumble. Roar. Roar. As the roar resounded, the entire mountain range let out a deafening roar. The humongous mountain range actually rose slowly, and a terrifying aura flew out from the mountain range. In front, a mountain that looked like the head of a dragon lifted its head and stared at Sky Array roving crab and the others. The entire mountain range seemed to have come to life. Rumble. The mountain range spanning tens of thousands of kilometers headed straight for Sky Array roving crab. Roar. Roar. You are not qualified to make us pay the price. Your dragon race actually dared to chase after our Dragon King and hunt the Sky Dragon. Today we will make you disappear from the universe. Sky Array looked at the mountain range that was emitting a terrifying aura. His eyes flashed with coldness. He waved his arm and a majestic array was formed. At the side, roving crab transformed into a devouring dragon and attacked the patriarch of the dragon race. If you want to destroy us? Today I will show you the full power of the dragon race. The patriarch of the dragon race moved and flew to the head of the mountain range. His eyes were filled with killing intent. He held the dragon bone scepter in his hand and waved it at roving crab. With just 2 level 2 universe supremacies? You still want to destroy us, the dragon descendants? Dream on. Boom. Within the dragon bone scepter, a blood mist formed into the shape of a divine dragon and attacked roving crab. Roar. Roar. Roving crab's eyes were filled with disdain. With a shake of his body, roars could be heard coming from his body. 3 devouring dragons that looked exactly the same as him flew out of his body. Roar. One of the devouring dragons looked at the divine dragon formed by the blood mist and swung its terrifying claws. Boom. The blood mist dissipated. Little ones, kill him for me. Roving crab laughed sinisterly. With a roar, he attacked the patriarch of the dragon race. Around him, the three devouring dragons stood on both sides, emitting a towering aura. What? 4 level 2 universe supremacies. Seeing the devouring dragons flying out of roving crab's body, the patriarch's face changed. No wonder they dared to invade our dragon race. So they have 5 level 2 universe supremacies. His face was ugly. With a wave of the dragon bone scepter, the mountain range below him shot out huge peaks towards them. Array cleansing candle. At this moment, the heavenly array formed behind them. A beam of light energy that could purify everything swept forward. The entire void was shrouded by the blinding light. Damn it, that fella is a powerful array master. His expression changed and the mountain range below him formed a defensive wall. As the light swept across, the patriarch of the dragon race was filled with fear. The strength of the enemy was beyond their imagination. Black screen array activate. At this moment, a cold roar could be heard from the side. Waves of black mist surged out of the mountain range and spread towards the sky. The black mist formed into demonic dragons that looked like vengeful spirits and shrouded over everyone in the dragon palace. The remaining 2 universe supremacies of the dragon race controlled the array. Their eyes swept across the patriarch with an ugly expression. Chapter 31-35. You can search for Invincible Divine Dragon Cultivation System on Baidu. Ingenious Brush Pavilion to find the latest chapter. Darkness descended on the sky connecting array. The thousands of miles of mountain range turned into a huge mountain beast. When the dragon palace attacked, the dragon descendants immediately unleashed their strongest defense. As a race that had been around for billions of years, the treasures they guarded were exceptionally strong. Be it the sky-connecting array or the terrifying mountain beast, they had the ability to go against a rank 2 universe supremacy. Furthermore, within the sky-connecting great array, the powerhouses of the dragon clan would be able to unleash even greater might. Break the array. Above, when Prime Minister Turtle saw the terrifying array rising in an instant, he immediately let out a shout. Break the array. Aochi and the rest of the universe supremacies charged towards the black screen array. They waved the divine weapons in their hands and blasted forward. Rumble. The entire black screen array was torn apart. However, the black screen array continued to rise in other places. Kill. Kill everyone in the dragon palace. Kill this bunch of bastards who dared to invade us. Countless angry roars from the dragon descendants could be heard from below. Their eyes were filled with violent murderous intent. Although the dragon descendants had a secret army that had been destroyed by the dragon palace, the strength of the secret army was at most 30 to 40% of the entire race's strength. They still had a lot of experts. It was especially so in their base camp, Dragon Peak. The moment the dragon descendants were attacked, all the core disciples received the news and rushed back immediately. Tens of millions of elites attacked the 500,000 members of the dragon palace. Arrow dragon species, let's show these guys how powerful we are. Prime Minister Turtle's eyes were cold when he saw the countless experts of the dragon descendants below. He waved his arm. Swish, 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 swish. In an instant, countless densely packed arrows covered the area below. The terrifying arrows carried the power of wind and thunder. The arrows condensed into an incomparably huge divine dragon and blasted downwards. Boom, boom, boom. Horrifying explosions could be heard. Defend immediately. An expert of the dragon descendants bellowed from below. Bam, bam, bam. In the sky, an incomparably powerful door of darkness appeared. When the arrows landed on it, the door of darkness collapsed rapidly. Brothers charge. A universe venerable rank berserk dragon roared and charged downwards. Kill. The Starwood dragon species, Heaven Lightning Earth and Fire dragon Phoenix species, Imperial dragon species, and other dragon species led the charge. Among the 500,000 Dragon Palace members, none of them were weaker than a 4th Order universe venerable. Among them, there were more than 50 peak Emperor gods in Dragon Palace. War Machine Dragon Cannon. A loud roar came from below. Ka. Soon after, gigantic black cannons appeared one after another on the mountain peaks below. The head of the cannon was like the head of a divine dragon, and a terrifying energy was brewing on it. The strength of a race didn't just depend on the strength of its disciples, it also depended on the powerful war machines that guarded the race. The dragon cannon was specially prepared for war. A single shot could obliterate a planet. Thousands of dragon cannons were aimed at all the members of Dragon Palace. Boom, boom, boom. A terrifying bombardment rang out. Imperial dragon species, defend. Looking at the terrifying attack of the dragon cannon, Prime Minister Turtle frowned slightly and immediately ordered. Imperial dragon under the heavens. Imperial dragon under the heavens. All the Imperial dragon species let out a low roar, and a khaki dragon gate rose, blocking in front of them. Boom boom boom. Loud explosions rang out, and the entire sky changed color. Defend. A venerable realm Imperial dragon narrowed his eyes when he saw that the defense they released was quickly destroyed. A khaki divine dragon drew a line, and left behind a solid defense. But even so, his defense gradually cracked and collapsed. Thousands of dragon cannons were enough to kill a First-Order universe venerable. This was the foundation of the dragon descendants. Indeed, a force that has stood strong for billions of years. It's not to be underestimated. Wuxia looked over and his eyes shone brightly. After killing 6 venerables from the dragon descendants and 9 swords race, the Dragon Palace's venerable level combat power had reached 33. Even if he, Prime Minister Turtle and Xiaolan didn't make a move, there were more than 20 venerables. More than 20 venerables couldn't defeat the dragon descendants in an instant. One could only imagine how strong their foundation was. Every race's base camp is exceptionally sturdy. Prime Minister Turtle chimed in and looked around. But it's only a matter of time before they are destroyed. Wuxia nodded plainly. What? The dragon descendants sent a reinforcement message. The Dragon Palace has invaded their race. At this moment at the faraway Nine Swords race. The leader of the Nine Swords race looked at the message sent by the leader of the dragon descendants in shock. The Dragon Palace had gone to attack the dragon descendants. This, Nine Swords race sword troop, get ready. Follow me to support the dragon descendants. A figure quickly spread across the Nine Swords race. Upon hearing this voice, everyone in the Nine Swords race was shocked. The remaining universe paragon immediately flew into the hall, his face filled with a solemn expression. Leader, the dragon descendants. As he spoke, the leader of the Nine Swords race nodded, and his face was unusually bitter. Swoosh, swoosh. At this moment, experts from the Nine Swords race flew over from the front of the main hall. After the alliance between the Nine Swords race and the dragon descendants, they had established an army to deal with any situation. The Sword Troop was a powerful army that the Nine Swords race had established in advance. After the 2 secret armies were destroyed, the Sword Troop became the strongest combat army of the Nine Swords race. Let's go. Head to the dragon descendants immediately. The leader of the Nine Swords race looked across all the disciples and shouted. Now that the dragon descendants were under attack, it would be their turn to face the Nine Swords race once they were annihilated. At this time he had no choice but to provide support. The group of people moved and immediately flew towards the teleportation formation. Now that the teleportation formation between the 2 races had been opened, they could be transported directly to the dragon descendants. The Dragon Palace has invaded the dragon descendants. This. In the land of the Nine Swords tribe, everyone watched in shock as their tribe leader led a group of experts to support the dragon's descendants. The Dragon Palace had invaded the dragon descendants. Nine Swords is here to provide support. At the same time, within the dragon descendants, the leader of the Nine Swords race led 1,000,000 disciples out. They looked across the entire battlefield and shouted. Chapter 31-36. The experts from the Nine Swords race are here. The Nine Swords race has come to support us. Kill. Kill those invaders from Dragon Palace. Ha ha, kill kill kill. When the group of experts from the dragon race heard the voice of the Nine Swords race patriarch, their faces lit up with excitement. Although the Dragon Palace was strong, it was not strong enough to destroy them easily. With the support of the Nine Swords tribe, they would definitely be able to withstand the attack of the Dragon Palace. Patriarch Zhujian, help me. The dragon descendant patriarch heaved a sigh of relief when he heard the voice. He looked at the experts of Dragon Palace in front of him with an embarrassed expression, his hair turning white. A portion of the mountain beast beneath him had already collapsed. If he continued to fight, the entire mountain beast would collapse. At that time he would also be besieged by the experts of Dragon Palace. All right. The patriarch of the Nine Swords tribe replied. His eyes swept over and his pupils constricted. 5 level 2 universe venerables. His heart sank and his face was filled with fear. He moved and flew toward the patriarch of the dragon tribe. He was like a sharp sword that could cut through the sky, emitting a terrifying and dangerous aura. I didn't expect you 9 swords to come here. Just in time, I'll wipe out both your races in one go. When Tianjin saw Patriarch 9 swords flying over, his eyes flashed with coldness. Destroy our 2 clans? Dragon Palace, don't be so arrogant. The clan leader of the 9 swords clan roared with a sinister look on his face. A dazzling divine sword covered in lightning shot out of his body. Crash! The divine sword streaked across the sky and attacked the heavenly formation. Tianjin revealed a solemn look on his face. He waved his hand and one formation after another blasted upwards. Boom! A violent collision sound rang out. Dragon King. On Xiaolan's body, Prime Minister Turtle frowned when he saw the arrival of the experts from the 9 swords race. Do it. Wang Xian squinted his eyes and locked onto the 9 swords race Universe Venerable. As his voice fell, his figure instantly disappeared. Woo woo woo. Xiaolan and the others received the order and let out a low groan. A terrifying voice resounded throughout the world. Their gigantic bodies slammed into the mountain peak below. Not good. Brothers of the 9 swords, help us resist these 2 terrifying giant star beasts. Down below, the group of elders and protectors of the dragon race saw that Xiaolan's residence was moving. Their expressions changed as they immediately shouted at the disciples and experts of the 9 swords race. You want us to deal with 2 universe supremacy level space beasts? The million experts of the 9 swords race looked over, and their expressions changed slightly. Stop them. However, the experts of the 9 swords race did not reject. They had a universe paragon, 30 peak emperor god experts and other elite disciples. It could completely contend against 2 universe venerables. Leave this one to me. The rest are yours. The 9 sword race's rank 1 venerable was surrounded by divine swords as he stared coldly at Xiaolan. Clang clang clang. He waved his arm and countless divine swords appeared in the sky. They covered Little Blue and directly attacked. Crash. Oh. It's not your turn to perish yet and you're already seeking death? Suddenly the 9 swords race's universe venerable froze. His eyes widened and were filled with horror. Wang Xian's figure appeared behind him, and the dragon claw penetrated his body. With his current speed, if a rank 1 universe venerable was not fully prepared, he would definitely be killed in one strike. Not good, Soul Sword Venerable is dead. Sir Venerable. All of a sudden Wang Xian appeared behind a venerable and killed him instantly. Not far away, the million experts of the 9 swords race were slightly shocked as they witnessed this scene. How can this be? The 9 swords race had just arrived and joined the battle. In the end, one of their venerables was killed in one strike? That was a venerable of the 9 swords race. One of the only 2 venerables left. Seeing Soul Sword Venerable's corpse being kept, everyone from the 9 swords race trembled and were on the verge of collapsing. A venerable who had just arrived was killed in one strike. What about them? At this time, there was still a rank 2 universe venerable hunting them down. What was the dragon race doing? Woo woo woo. At this time Xiaolan and Xiaozhai rushed over. Their terrifying aura made everyone shudder. Attack attack. Everyone from the 9 swords race was shocked as they roared. Rumble. In the next instant, the sky was filled with terrifying attacks towards Xiaolan and Xiaozhai. Their bodies exuded a grayish energy as they trembled slightly. Boom. Before the attacks could land on them, they were turned into nothingness. Xiaozhai and Xiaolan were also the pinnacle void beasts in the universe Kuan. With their current strength, they could kill a rank 1 universe venerable in a one-on-one battle. How could they be a match for them? Oh no, dragon race, come and support us. Seeing this, the leader of the 9 swords race shouted in horror. Immediately, one of the commanding elders from the dragon race noticed the situation over here. His heart skipped a beat as he had a bad feeling about this. But at this time they could not find the time to support them. Immediately my ***. All disciples of the 9 swords race, run. The leader of the 9 swords race was furious as he roared. There was no time for hesitation in the face of a space beast at the rank of a venerable. Either they could resist it or all of them would die. Not to mention there was an existence that could kill a venerable in an instant. At this moment he did not hesitate and gave the order to escape. At the same time he waved his arm and a sword umbrella rose into the air, enveloping all the disciples of the 9 swords race. It propped up a space for them to prevent them from being interrupted. The sword umbrella contained a strong aura and was obviously an acquired spiritual treasure. Buzz buzz buzz. In the next instant, all the disciples of the 9 swords race fled. All of them fled. Wang Xian, who was not far away, was shocked as he watched. Fuck. Some of the experts from the Dragon Clan glanced over, and their expressions were extremely ugly. Damn it. How did this happen? There's still a rank 2 universe venerable in the Dragon Palace? At the center, the leader of the Nine Swords race roared with bloodshot eyes when he sensed the fall of the Soul Sword Venerable. The leader of the dragon race looked over and his heart skipped a beat. Both your races have to be annihilated. Wang Xian looked at the leaders of the two races and said coldly. As soon as he finished his sentence, he flew towards them. What a fast speed. Sensing Wang Xian's terrifying speed, the leader of the Nine Swords race clenched his fists tightly as his eyes glistened. Buzz. In the next instant, his figure started to turn illusory. Chapter 31-37, Patriarch Jiao. The figure of the Nine Swords Patriarch started to turn illusory, and the expression of the Dragon Descendant Patriarch changed drastically. However, before he could react, the Nine Swords clan head's figure disappeared. It had only been a few minutes since the Nine Swords race had arrived, and they had all escaped. The fact that Wang Xian had killed the universe supremacy from the Nine Swords race had sent chills down their spines. Of the entire Nine Swords tribe, 4 supremacies had been killed. Now only the tribe leader was left. Moreover, he also knew that the strength of the Dragon Palace was much more terrifying than they had imagined. Including Wang Xian, there were a total of 6 level 2 universe venerables. 6. A total of 6. This was no longer something they could contend against. Not to mention the number of level 1 supremacies in the Dragon Palace universe. They couldn't contend against this power. He also knew the consequences of escaping. However, clan leader Jiao had already thought it through. Once he returned, he would immediately lead his clansmen to escape to prevent the Dragon Palace from invading. The Dragon Descendants were completely finished. The Nine Swords race could at least leave behind some seats. Damn it. Seeing the Patriarch of the Nine Swords clan flee, the Patriarch of the Dragon Clan felt his heart skip a beat. He looked at Wang Xian, who was charging towards him with fear in his eyes. His gaze swept across the surroundings. This time the Dragon Descendants were doomed. Dragon eyes lock everywhere. At the thought of Wang Xian's cold voice, chains began to lock down the surroundings. Roving Crab and the rest raised their heads and roared furiously. The 4 devouring dragons charged forward. The heavenly formation was immediately set up. Even if the Dragon Descendants and the mountain beast beneath them were incomparably powerful, they still had to kill them today. Whoa. Whoa. After Lil Blue made its move, the situation in the surrounding area changed drastically. They swayed their huge bodies and began to attack the surrounding black screen formation. The entire formation began to crumble bit by bit. In an instant, Dragon Palace gained the upper hand. At the same time, the news of the Dragon Palace invading the Dragon Descendants had spread throughout the Milky Way. The news came from the Nine Swords race and the Dragonkin race. When everyone heard the news, their faces were filled with shock. What's going on? The war has begun? Did the Dragon Palace attack the Dragon Descendants? This is too fierce. Directly attack the Dragon Descendants? How powerful is the Dragon Palace? Those 2 void behemoths are carrying the Dragon Palace to the Dragon Descendants? What is the relationship between the Dragon Palace and the battle pet of the Immortal Palace? I heard that the Nine Swords race has gone to reinforce the Dragon race. What's the situation now? The Dragon Descendants are a force that has stood in the Milky Way for billions of years. How could they be destroyed so easily? Moreover, they have the support of the Nine Swords race. On the brain, the war that had suddenly erupted caused everyone to discuss it. Everyone was shocked by the strength and power of the Dragon Palace. A month ago he had declared war. Now he was going to kill his way over. How terrifying. However, just as everyone was discussing amongst themselves, news came from the Nine Swords tribe. The leader of the Nine Swords race announced that all the core disciples were to return to the clan and prepare to flee to another part of the void. When everyone in the Milky Way received this news, their faces were filled with shock. The Nine Swords race actually fled? What was going on? Is the dragon race going to be exterminated? The Nine Swords race is fleeing. This is definitely an undefeatable existence. Didn't they just go to support the dragon race? Could it be that the Dragon Palace was too powerful? That they weren't their match? That's definitely the case. Otherwise, why would they leave the place where they had stood for billions of years? What about the dragon race? Is the dragon race going to be exterminated? When they received this news, everyone was shocked. Especially the group of primary races and other domain-level races. If the Dragon Palace really exterminated the dragon race, it meant that the Dragon Palace's strength was at the top of the Milky Way. They had to make some preparations against such a powerful race. The group of universe races hesitated for a moment before immediately sending their venerable level existences to the dragon race to investigate the situation. Not good, not good. Those two space beasts are too terrifying. There are too many venerable level existences in the Dragon Palace. Our black screen array is about to collapse. At this moment, at the dragon race's location, two dragon race venerables were controlling the clan protection array to attack the venerables of the Dragon Palace. However, at this time, the addition of Xiaolan caused the collapse of the black screen array to accelerate. Once the black screen array completely collapsed, the two of them would have to face the venerables of the Dragon Palace. With their strength, they would be easily killed. The difference is too huge. We, the dragon race, can't resist at all. A universe venerable said with an incomparably pale face that was drenched in cold sweat. No, no, no. Stop them, stop them. At this moment, a terrified voice was heard from the side. The group of dragon race experts were using the dragon cannon to attack the 500,000 members of the Dragon Palace. However, suddenly, a strange dark figure appeared around the dragon cannon. Their strange silhouettes quickly harvested the experts of the dragon clan. In particular, there was a strange figure of a paragon level. When he drew a black and white line, tens of thousands of Emperor God experts were instantly killed. It was unstoppable. The dragon cannon was threatened. In front, the strong members of the Dragon Palace immediately broke through the dragon race's defense line. With the Mad Dragon as the leader, they directly charged into the dragon race army. The head-on clash began. However, at the front, there were venerable level existences in the Dragon Palace. No matter how many dragon race people there were, they weren't a match for the venerables of the Dragon Palace. There are too many universe venerables in the Dragon Palace. It's over, it's over. The two dragon race venerables who were controlling the black screen formation felt their vision turning dark. They had used the formation to restrain more than 10 venerables, but their defense was still broken. One could imagine how terrifying the Dragon Palace was. If this wasn't their base camp, the dragon race would have been defeated long ago. Even so, they were just one step away from defeat. What should we do? The two of them exchanged glances and immediately looked towards the center. Rumble. As soon as they looked over, they heard a rumbling sound. The huge body of the mountain beast started to crumble rapidly. The mountain beast, which they had nurtured with their blood essence, was about to be finished. Once the mountain beast crumbled, how could their clan leader be a match for the 6 level 2 venerables of the Dragon Palace? It's over. Our dragon race is completely finished. Invincible Divine Dragon Cultivation System's error-free chapters will continue to be updated on the mobile game bar. There will be no advertisements on the website. Please bookmark and recommend the mobile game bar. Please bookmark the Invincible Divine Dragon Cultivation System. Invincible Divine Dragon Cultivation System. You're tuning in to the Han Lee's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.